What's up, friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti, and today is already a day of filled with the comedy of errors. But I'm making do. I think I did all the things. I don't know. I think I posted this stream in the places that I should have. I just had to restart the computer. Hopefully, you guys can see me. In the chat, we've got Flying Monkey, Random FPV, Gary Higgins, Rimmy Tim, Brandon's Baked Beans. I lost a whole bunch of the comments when I had to restart. I'm trying to get him back over. What, baby? Yeah. Chris FPV, Dauntless, Demons Galore, Gary Higgins, Guillermo, RC Addict, FPV Hawk, Dauntless FPV, Nathan Hawk, Dog Life, Guillermo again, Chris FPV, Demons Galore, Alexander Romanenko, Rimmy Tim, Random FPV, Grumpy FPV, Ran is in the chat. I thought it was Ran F, but he actually typed F. F's in chat for fail, I think, right? Isn't that what F's in chat means? I'm going to stop there. This is off the rails, but we're fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's great. If you want to talk to me directly in the chat, all you've got to do is type my screen name, which is CiottiFPV. It's right down there. CiottiFPV. If you type that into the chat, what's going to happen is your comment is going to light up in orange, just like what Guillermo did. You can type the @ you don't have to type the @ If you just type CiottiFPV, it will light up in orange. That is how you talk directly to me. I try really hard and do a pretty good job at reading all of the comments that are tagged in orange. Super quick, just to sort of make sure that I'm in a yeah. In Joshua's chat, somebody said Ciotti starts leveraging money off of the people with mental health issues at 3. They should start shooting people like that sooner. So obviously that person is, that's not a real human being. That's a garbage person. But I just want to make sure that nobody else feels that way. Every Thursday, for as long as I can mentally do it, because it's really tough to do those streams. Every Thursday I'm doing a stream called Therapy Thursday, and I am making that stream available publicly at the time of the stream so that anybody can come in. It is linked, the stream replay will be linked over on FPV Therapy, a Facebook group that is free to join. But at the end of these Thursday therapy streams, I am making them unlisted. And I am also posting the link over on Patreon just because it's an easy thing to do, and I try to give the patrons as much of me as possible to make, that platform as worth it as possible. I assumed that was enough. So the reasoning behind making that stream unlisted on my public YouTube channel is I'm not a mental health professional. I say it as often as I can in those Therapy Thursday streams, like, this is just a 39-year-old dude's experience with mental health. I've been in talk therapy for 15-ish years. This is just my experience. I'm not a mental health professional, yada, yada, yada. The second big reason is that I just don't necessarily want the things that I talk about in those streams about myself to be public. Unfortunately, mental health is very misunderstood, and insurance companies have been known to use public, I've been in the healthcare industry for a while, and I've seen some shit that has made me very sad, and that's one of the reasons why I'm not going to leave those streams public. If that makes me he didn't call me any names, but I'm sure that type of a person would have called me a communist in the next breath. You guys know what I mean when I say that. If that makes me a communist, then commie me up, bro. We're going to talk about FPV here in this stream. I just wanted to give a shout out to that asshole that said something that I won't be able to forget for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I will torture myself over for a long time. Don't just ignore the trolls. Shit all over the trolls, please. We've ignored the trolls here in the U.S. for a long time, and last week we saw something pretty unprecedented that happened from ignoring the trolls, in my opinion. So, if the trolls come in here, moderators, don't just insta-ban them. Let's stomp all over them and see how they like it, because that's what they're doing to the rest of us. And it's not cool, and I'm sick of it, and I know it's the elephant in the room, and I know some of you don't want to talk about it, but tough shit. This is a free stream. I'm going to talk about it. If you come back in probably 5 minutes, I'll be done talking about it. I'm pissed off. I'm very, very angry for a lot of reasons over the last week, and if you're not also really angry, take a look at some things. I think you should be. I think we should all be pretty fucking angry. But that's not what this stream is about. I'm going to try my best to move on. I'm angry enough about it where I do want to talk about it, and I think it is really important for us to talk about it. But I don't want to drone on and on and on and on about it. I said drone. See what I did there? So here we go in the chat. More hammer and duct tape. Random FP says, nobody's tagged me. Look at this. I'm gonna get caught up on chat like right away. Espander says stop pooping. For once I wasn't shitting. Random FP says don't buy Digitech cam. That will be the first thing. CiottiFPV says. No, it was. It actually wasn't the camera that. Well, it might have been the camera. I'm on an old ass Canon Rebel SL1 DSLR here. It's this application. So all my gear is super old and cheap and horrible. But to make this DSLR work on this computer, I have to run this program that kind of is a screen capture in a weird way called Camera Live, and that program just shit the bed a minute ago and refused to launch and function. But I restarted the computer and here I am. Don Ladd says, here we are again. Hello. LOL. Sacramento in the house. I'm here to support my brother. Good day from a friend. Thanks, dude. Much appreciated. Glad to have you here. It's Darts is here. Guillermo's here. Brandon's Baked Beans is here. Don Lads, Mr. Huggy, TweetFPV in the house. Everybody go subscribe to TweetFPV. Dan is an excellent dude doing super cool stuff. He just did a SmackDown real-world test of Crossfire versus R9 versus Tracer versus Archer. And it's a really interesting test. I'm not going to tell you how it turned out to force you to go check out Tweet's channel and give him a subscription while you're over there. It's free. Do things that are free. Seth Inman says, how long should I leave a quad? That quad I crashed in front of a heater. Seth Inman put a quad in the drink. Luckily, it was conformal coated. I don't even bother with the conformal coating. And I've crashed most of my stuff into the drink before. I take it, I put it in the footwell of the car under full blast heat with air conditioning to dry out the air on the ride home. And then when I get home, I put it in front of this fan over here. I put a little like table and I put it on that fan on high power. I leave that fan on for pretty much 24 hours. I come back, I plug the quads in, and they all have worked. I have yet to lose anything from any of my rigs being fully submerged, which has happened a shocking number of times, kind of a ridiculous number of times. The big thing seems to be don't give it power until it's fully dry. And get it when your quads go in the drink, get them unplugged as soon as possible. And if they go in the salt water, just drive home. Don't even bother. No, don't do that. You'll still, the frame will be fine. More than likely, though, if you put one of these things in salt water, it's going to be almost a total loss, unfortunately. But if you put them in fresh water, they don't seem to give a shit. I mean, I have rigs that like I put into this like tiny whoops that I put into the sink 4 or 5, 6 times that they just don't care. So yeah, do not lose hope when your quads get wet. Just dry them out. Get power pulled as soon as possible. Get them dried out. And yeah, Alexander says stop scamming us for free and talking about mental health issues like you care and are a human being. Who was that tool in the Joshua Bardwell stream? I don't know. Their name is like crazy characters. I copied and pasted and I tried to search for them on YouTube. I was going to try to ban them completely from my channel, but it's just like strange characters, and I couldn't figure out how to do that, and I very quickly lost interest and said, nah, fuck it. But yeah, I'm gonna sort of challenge you guys. I'm gonna incite a riot. No, I'm gonna challenge you guys to re-examine your view of ignoring the trolls. If you still think that that's the right thing to do, I totally get it. The trolls are children in a way, and this is how we deal with children. I think children don't understand what they're doing, and trolls definitely do. I think that's the big difference. We've tried ignoring the trolls for a long time, and I don't feel like it's worked, so let's try something else, right? I think it's important for us as human beings to be a little bit realistic sometimes, and not just take the easy way out. So yeah, I'm gonna challenge your philosophy on that. I've changed my mind. I'm no longer ignoring the trolls. I am going to expose them in front of everyone, and let the people have their way with them. Because in my opinion, yeah, maybe that'll work. I certainly wouldn't want that. YouTube and Facebook have now like given us these public personas that maybe we don't want to lose, right? Like my Facebook page has been around forever. I have lots of really good friends on there. If that page got taken down, I would be sad. So let's use that, right? Let's use that fact to hold people to a little bit of a higher standard. And yeah, there's my challenge to you guys today. Enough of that. Let's talk about FPV. Emu Flight help with Mobula 6, RC Addict says. RC Addict, I'm not an Emu Flight guy. I think that the RPM filtering in Betaflight and a lot of the other advantages of Betaflight are enough that I've tried Emu Flight and it didn't really do anything better than Betaflight. It did some things worse, like latency. So yeah, I don't have a reason to use it. I don't have a reason to learn it. I would rather steer you guys towards Betaflight, which in my experience is a better firmware. There's more people working on it. It's safer. It's more like sort of, yeah, there's a million different reasons. I'm not gonna rip down that list quite yet unless you guys really want me to. Ripper FPV says, hi OWD pal. What's next to D on the keyboard? OWS? Hi OWS pal. What's up, Ripper? I think you got auto-corrected, and I can't look at the keyboard and figure out what the letters would change to. Guillermo says, how's it hanging? Short, shriveled, and to the left. What movie? Demons Galore FPV says, what's the amazing beat called? That beat is called April Almost There from Quessy on Instagram. If you really want to say, he's just he's one of the people that when T-Pain posted my drift video, commented saying, dude, that's awesome. And then I went through and I messaged most of the people that commented and said, and took a look at their profiles to see if they were music producers and people that were making music. I messaged and I said, hey, thanks so much for the love. I would love to work together. Check out my channel, blah, 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 blah. And a bunch of those people got back to me and were like, wow, super cool. I'd love to do like a little music video or something like that with you once the virus is a little bit more under control. And a couple of those people said, well, here, to get you started, here's some of my beats. Do whatever you'd like with them. And Quessy was one of those people that he's not really doing this anymore. Like that beat is from like years ago. His Instagram channel's not really active. But he made something cool and wants people to use it, right? Which, like, I love that I'm very much of that same mind. Like, yeah. I'm making something cool. If somebody else uses it, that's super great. I don't really have... Like, yeah, like if for some reason I see somebody using some of my flight footage, like, I'm going to be happy about that. I'm not going to copyright strike them. Like I'm gonna get in touch with them and be like, hey, thanks so much for using my stuff. That's awesome. I'm glad that, yeah. Unless, of course, it's like a business using it for monetary gains. I think that's a little bit different, but it's a gray area. I don't know. I would be very flattered if anybody used any of my flight footage. You know what I mean? I wouldn't immediately go to burn him, which unfortunately a lot of people do. But hey, to each their own, I guess. Gary Higgins says, I'm flying a 3-inch Tadpole 1404 3700 kV. What battery should I be using? Of what I've heard about the Tadpole frame, the arms are very fragile because the carbon fiber doesn't run the length of the arm. So I would go with as lightweight of a battery as possible to try to just help that frame. It's a problem with most Arma 10 frames. They don't they don't orient the carbon properly. They cut the frames in a way that they can get as many frames as possible on a sheet to make as much money as possible, possibly. But unfortunately, there's a sacrifice in strength. So yeah, it's going to be important, Gary, for you to pick the as lightweight a battery as you possibly can. 3700 kV. I'm thinking you're going to want to be on at least 4S. No, 4S will be fine. So I would do the smallest 4S battery that you can find, the lightest weight 4S battery you can find, which is probably going to be a 450. You might be able to find a 4S 350. The smallest I've seen is a 4S 450. Luckily, that battery hammers, and you're probably going to get like 3 or 4 minutes up in the air of hard flying out of a 4S 450. And yeah, it's whatever the latest option is. Your setup there has sort of like a fatal flaw, unfortunately, in arm strength, which is going to come out in crashes, and it's also going to come out in like mid-throttle oscillations. Arma 10 frames have a really hard time with mid-throttle vibes because the frame, when you don't orient the carbon properly, it also not only does it make the arms weaker, but it makes them more bendy and less stiff. And that will send more vibrations, and in some cases create vibrations. Like the arms will create their own resonant frequency, basically. So yeah, that's going to be my recommendation for you there, Gary. As light as possible, and 4S in my opinion. Dauntless says, get rid of that troll. We know that that's not true. I feel supported when I watch your streams. All right, good. I just want to make sure. I read all comments because I truly do care, and I'm not big enough that there are so many comments that it's impossible to read them all. And yeah, even the negative comments, I want to make sure that if maybe that person was like the first one to realize that I'm doing something wrong. If I'm doing something wrong, I want to catch it as early as possible and fix it for you guys. You guys are my bosses, so when you guys say something, I take it very seriously. Unfortunately, when negative things are said, I take those very seriously too, and they take hold of my brain in a negative way, and I'm working on it. I've seen people leave YouTube because of that shit, and I'm gonna try to not be that person, but we'll see what happens. I'm trying my best, man. Brian Ladmiral says, we know you're not trying to take advantage of people. Michael Blades says, I'm learning a lot, and I'm new to FPV. Richard Warwick says, a garbage person is too nice to describe. Way to describe that person. I agree, Richard, but I try to be not too much of a tyrant. Show me the direction of that ass. We can have some fun, Guillermo. I don't know how to. It's just like characters. Their name is just characters. I guess you could go back on Joshua's stream and look towards the end of it and maybe copy and paste it. I don't know. I don't know if you can do that, but whatever. I'm going to move on. Don Ladd says, I just read that on Discord. All right, sounds good. Gary Higgins says, that's all. I've really had mental health issues. Can't help it. Why would people act that way? It's hard enough without dealing with that. Love to all. Thanks, Gary. It Starts says, you don't need to explain yourself to us. All right, cool. Don Ladd says, we don't either, bro. It's good the way you do it. All right, good. Tiago says, let's get Dr. K to come on the stream with you. Dr. K? Who's Dr. What? Oh. That's Kristen. Apparently now Kristen is Dr. K. I like it, Tiago. Weirdo with a Skateboard says, oh my god, Weirdo with a Skateboard. Two things about Weirdo with a Skateboard. One thing is that there's a link over on me Discord channel in the general to an interview that Weirdo with a Skateboard did with me yesterday. Weirdo is doing a podcast / live stream style, at the moment, audio only show where he's going to interview FPV people and ask them sort of who are you behind the goggles, I guess. Or wait, no, I guess it would be in front of the goggles. Yeah, I don't know. But less FPV related and more just personal related questions. And yeah, I had a blast. It was a really good time. So if you want to take a look at that, jump on over to the Discord channel. You can get to the Discord channel by one of two ways. You can either head on over to CiottiFPV.com, click the Patreon button, and join my Patreon for as little as $3 a month. That's like 10 cents a day. I know you can do it. You can do it. I have faith in you. So yeah, for a couple of dollars, you can go over there, and that's going to automatically link you up with Patreon with access to all the Patreon text chat channels. Or if for some reason you can't or don't want to join my Patreon, you can just go to CiottiFPV, scroll all the way to the bottom. I hit it as far down as I could so that you'd have to work for it. There is a link to Patreon, and you can join for free. You're not going to get the extra couple patron-only text channels. Sorry, but I try to do as much as I can for the folks that take, their hard-earned money and send it my way to help me continue to do this full-time. And I hope that's cool with everybody. If it's not cool with you, I don't know what to tell you. I think it's pretty fair. Most of the people in the chat think the same. So that's the way it's going to be. Look how bright it is in here. God damn it. I hate you, son. Let me live in a cave, son, you fucker. Go away. Go. During the winter time, the sun, there's a window like right here, right behind my softbox, that's hitting me. And I have, so that's without the softbox. This is the window light that's coming on. It drives me nuts though, because the window is huge and I have the blinds as closed as I can, and I can't really put curtains on this because I have like my whole desk backed up against the window. And yeah, in the wintertime, the sun, like right around now, the stream time, the sun hits this really hard, and it just sends all this ugly natural light in here. And yeah, you can't see any of my fancy sexy lights. Should we talk about drones at some point here, or should we just keep talking about politics and my lighting setup and shitty people? Working my way through the chat. Looks like all you guys are cool with the way I've been doing things, so thank you. Pandemic Pilot with a $2 $2 Californian super chat. He says, California gonna have a party. Thank you, Pandemic Pilot. This is me making fun of myself months ago for someone sending me a certain amount of Canadian dollars in the end of a stream, and my tired end of stream brain said California dollars. And I'll never let it live. I'll never let myself live that down, because I think it's absolutely hysterical. And I'm cool laughing at myself, man. I'll laugh at myself if there's a chance that one person will laugh along with me and have a little bit better of a day than they did. That is fine. Doglife UK says, there are no professionals in mental health, bro. Everyone is totally different personal demons. Very true, Doglife, in a way, although my experience with mental health professionals, talk therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, has been pretty shocking. So I would definitely consider those people to be mental health professionals in that way. And yeah, I always encourage, if you guys haven't, to just go talk to a talk therapist. It won't, if you have health insurance, it won't cost you much. If you don't have health insurance like Kristen and I, it'll cost you $100-ish a session, which may still be worth it. I know that's a lot of money, but it may very well still be worth it. I can't personally afford it at the moment, but when I can again, I will be going every week. It helps me a lot. So Brian Ladmiraw says, don't let him win. Oh, I'm not gonna. We're gonna attack him verbally. and then we're gonna win. Seth Inman says, how long should I leave the... Oh, we got that. Bill Clark says, ignore it. I'm not ignoring it anymore, Bill. I'm done ignoring it. I'm done ignoring the trolls. I'm gonna attack the trolls and try to make them feel as horrible as they're making other people feel. Because I'm tired of them just being ignored in one spot and going to another spot and doing it again, and going to another spot and doing it again. I'm gonna actually try to do something about it. And maybe that's a stupid idea, but I've just fucking had it. I've just absolutely had it with ignoring horrible people, and letting them get together and try to destroy everything. Yeah. FPV Hawk says, who wrote that? We've been talking about that. Where's the link to Emu Flight download? RC Addict says, I think if you just go to Google and search for Emu Flight, it'll probably pop up a link to their website. TweetFPV says, what should make us angry is GoPro. Yeah, GoPro, what the fuck? GoPro has removed ProTune from the menus of their products in the phone application. And there aren't many like actual reasons to do that aren't evil. The only thing I can you guys know that I try my best in as many situations as possible to see things from both sides and to put myself in the other person's shoes so that I don't just demonize and have it come back and bite me in the ass later. And you know, I hate that feeling of like, oh, I was the asshole. Great. So with GoPro removing ProTune, the only possible thing that I can think of is that I guess maybe they were getting a lot of customer service emails from people who would turn ProTune on or not know what it is, or that's the only possible reason I can think of for GoPro to remove ProTune that's not shitty. I hope to hell that the entire cinematic industry that uses GoPros comes down on them like a fucking hammer, and they realize what a shitty thing this was to do to all those people. But I'm not so sure. Yeah. I don't know, man. Not having ProTune makes the 4 GoPro Session 5s that I've managed to stack up over the last 6 months kind of worthless. Basically, I'm in a situation now where I can't connect to them. If I connect these Session 5s to the GoPro application, it's going to wipe out the ProTune settings, and it's going to put the GoPro into a state where the footage looks like a bag of shit. So yeah, kind of interesting. Yeah, I mean, GoPro just took the ability to make the footage that comes out of their cameras, they've taken the ability to make that footage look good, and they've removed it. So it's a very confusing move from a company that makes cameras that you would think they would want their customers to set properly so that the footage coming from them looked good. Know what I mean? There is this application on the iPhone called... I can't see what it's called because I'm stuck in... Yes! There it is! Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second so I can get you the name. I had to verify, and I didn't get the code before the stream started. Okay, so that's... Come on. Done. Oh, wait, there it is. Verify. Uh, BLE remote app for GoPro. There it is. Thank you, Daniel. Oh, you guys are probably putting it in the chat. I'm trying to download it right now. There it is. My dad keeps texting me. 332082. 332082. Verify. Yes, there we go. BLE remote for GoPro. I have now... How many fucking passwords are you going to make me put in, Apple? I don't even know what this password is. God damn it. It's a thing. I literally have to do this right now. Because of bad people that troll us and make us have to have 18,000 passwords. Yeah, imagine that. Imagine if we started shitting on all the trolls and there were less trolls and having, you know, like all the pains in the ass with passwords and just in general, you know, the things that are a pain in the ass in life. What if there were less of them? I don't know. That'd be pretty cool. I'm getting it. BLE remote. It won't let you preview though. So you can still adjust the settings, which is a start, but not having preview sucks. And it means that you have to... Well, I don't know yet. I have to use that application. Maybe with that application, you can go in and change the ProTune settings and then boot up the GoPro application to use their preview to see if the changes that you made are good. And then maybe you can go back, if they're not right, maybe you can go back into this application and tweak them and then go back to the GoPro application to use their preview. Because on the sessions, there's no screen. GoPro, what the fuck, dude? Not good. Not good. I really hope that they get obliterated on YouTube for this. I really do. I really hope that every single content creator that uses a GoPro absolutely hammers them over this, because it's not cool. It's not cool to remove features from it's not cool to charge people for a cinematic camera with the ability to change these settings and then to yank the rug out from under them. That is unacceptable in my opinion. If you think that is acceptable, let me know. But I can't put myself in their shoes and make an argument for that. So if you guys can, I kind of want to hear it. CiottiFPV says, oh no, YouTube did the thing, and now I have to scroll back up because we were talking about his receiver testing, and he was typing something about the receiver testing, but YouTube didn't think I should read it. It thought that I should read the absolute newest comment. I disagree, YouTube. I like to read everybody's comments, not just the new comments. It's about quality, YouTube. It's not about quantity. It's not about everything being new. It's about things being good. And now I can't find it. I found it. Got some things to change in the RX test round 2. Nice tweet. The only thing I messaged you this tweet, but just to get the conversation started, I guess, and to yeah, I can't wait for round 2. But I think the crossfire antenna on the transmitter was in the horizontal direction, but the one on your car was in the vertical direction. So I think you want to. What I've been told, I also want an answer to this. Because I've now heard it both ways. I've heard that it doesn't matter, but I've heard that it does matter, and it is important. If on your rig you've got just pretend that this is an Immortal T. If you've got your Immortal T in the up and down direction on your rig, you want to put it on your transmitter in that same up and down direction. Whereas if you mount the Immortal T sideways like this on your rig, supposedly you want your Immortal T on your transmitter to be sideways. So tell me that's true, right, guys? Like, I've heard a couple people say that it doesn't matter, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess you could argue that there's so much bounce and there's so much going on that it doesn't matter. But Dan, are you willing to test that? That'd be a pain in the ass to test because you'd have to go out and then you'd have to come all the way back and rotate the damn thing. Maybe the chat will all say we'll all tell CiottiFPV to test that though. Maybe we don't need to test it, but I'm interested in. Yeah, I want to know. I want to know. Sacramento in the house. Thanks, brother. Espander says, "What's a good 14mm camera?" I like the Runcam Phoenix Nano. That's my favorite at the moment. It is a little bit bigger though. It's sort of it's the longest of the Nano cameras, which I like because I'm putting them into a glide frame, and the fact that they're a little bit longer, mainly the lens is a little bit longer, gets the standoffs out of view, which I really like. I don't like flying FPV with the standoffs in the sides of the view. It feels like oddly claustrophobic. So yeah, the other one that I like if you want a smaller, shorter camera is the Foxeer Toothless. That's been really good as well. Michael Blade says, "I'm new to FPV and learning a lot from you in this great community." Thanks, brother. I appreciate you saying that. Stick around. We're gonna get you up and running. We're gonna get you buying the right parts to make sure that you don't waste money. We're gonna hopefully also have you building properly so that you don't cook components and get pissed off, because a lot of us have quit the hobby a number of times as we've gotten frustrated back when information was a lot less readily available. So yeah, man, welcome. Pandemic Pilot says, "I'm lagging behind, but acknowledging a troll is the worst thing you can do from a psychological point of view." So I'll agree with that, but here's the thing, Pandemic. Once I've read it, like, it's in there, and so like once I've read it and seen it, I might as well just attack because like all the negatives have already happened, right? So it's kind of like, well, you fucked me over, so I guess I should return the favor. I don't know, man. It also makes me feel a little bit better to sort of give it back rather than just absorbing. So yeah, I don't know. The moderators, and this is not big enough to really have to deal with trolls, so it's not that big of an issue. I don't think that the moderators in here have to delete much stuff, but yeah, I don't know. More FPV stuff. We're talking about FPV stuff. Stock Betaflight 2 thumbs 2 thumbs 405 says, "Stock Betaflight rates pitch, throttle, and yaw fine. Rolls into oblivion." Ideas. 2 thumbs. More than likely, your the roll right now is connected to throttle. Your channel map is probably wrong in the receiver tab. So here's an easy way to test it. Center your throttle stick. If you center your throttle stick and it stops rolling, you know that your channel map is wrong. Go in and change your channel map from, there's only two. There's AETR and there's TAER. It's in the receiver tab. It's all the way at the top. You'll see it. Your channel map is either one or the other. Whichever one it's on now, switch it to the other one and hit save. Nothing happens until you hit save. So when you switch it, it's not going to stop rotating. When you hit save, it should. Check that out. If that's not the issue, tag me again. We'll continue to troubleshoot. License to Drive says, "GoPro Android." Okay, yeah, so the GoPro thing is only really an issue for me because I'm an Apple guy. You Android people have yet another. You've stuck it to us iPhone people yet again, and you have the ability to download the APK. License to Drive dropped a link here. I'm going to copy and paste it because he put that in there a half an hour ago. I'm literally a half an hour behind on chat. Holy Christ on a cracker. Here we go. Alexander says translated name is Moran, Japanese. Ooh, snap. Alexander is going after him. Good on you, brother. TweetFPV says that person's been on my channel before he was banned. Okay, can you guys do me a favor and grab that person's name? If they're bouncing around trolling everybody, I will figure out a way how to ban them from my entire channel. Yeah, just because if you're gonna be a scumbag, then you don't get my free content. Sorry, that's just the way it is. If you're a terrorist or just a jerk off, yeah, you don't get this. You don't get this for free. You don't get rewarded with good things. It's just the way it is. What else we got going on here? Ripper FPV says troll hunter. Fuck 'em, mate. Exactly, bro. We are I'm gonna change the name of the collective to the troll. Do you guys want to be called the troll hunters from now on? We'll be a roving band of troll hunters. That can you imagine? That would be, oh man, that would be a great, like, I bet you that's not a new thing. That would be a great, like if a bunch of hackers, you know, like actual hackers, not like the movies, but yeah, like if a bunch of actual hackers made a group called the Troll Hunters and went around doing hacking for good. Oh, that'd be fun. A guy can dream, right? Alexander says, if you put it in salt water, unplug it, then wash with distilled or filtered water, then dry. Also remember to remove any internal batteries like beepers with a LiPo. Really good call, Alexander. Yes, keep a bottle of water. I mean, just in general, in life, keep a bottle of water in your car at all times. It's the only thing good, in my opinion, about single-time use water bottles. So yeah, keep a bottle of water in your car at all times. If you crash in salt water, dump that. I know it's going to seem insane, but you just need to get that salt water off of there as soon as possible. So yeah, that's the full cycle. If you crash in salt water, you get it out of the salt water as quick as possible, get it unplugged as quick as possible. That's the biggest thing. Also, some people say unplug it like still under the water. Just unplug it. Just get that shit unplugged as quickly as possible. There is power flowing through there. Salt water is jumping some of the things that shouldn't be jumped, and it's just like corroding and eating, and just it's all bad. So just get it unplugged as quick as possible and get the salt water off of it. Take it, dump a bottle of water on it, rotate it around, get as much of the bottle of water on there as possible. I've never seen a saltwater crashed rig have much salvageable on it. Everyone I've ever seen, it pretty instantly destroyed the ESC. It pretty instantly destroys the flight controller. It's bad. Like, it's real bad. Don't crash in saltwater, guys. It's almost so bad that you can just walk away and just write the whole thing off as a loss. But that's not true. The frame is going to be fine. The HD cam is probably even going to be fine. GoPros are relatively waterproof. Toxic FPV says the new version of Emu has dual axis steering. I heard about that. Gal Kramer posted a video about that. I saw the thumbnail. So you can put yaw into the roll stick and roll into the yaw stick. Once you get it adjusted, it can be very helpful for whoop racers. Yeah, if you're a whoop racer, EmuFlight is doing some really cool stuff. I am not. If I was a whoop racer, I would probably be into EmuFlight, and I'd probably be more interested in it. But I'm not. I find that I sort of walk this line of trying to do the things that you guys want to see, but at the same time, I have to be careful with my time and put my time into the right things. And yeah, it would be difficult for me to learn. Like, I know that I would want to learn it top to bottom, and that's going to take some time. It hasn't really done anything for me on acro, so I would also have to like start flying angle mode. and it's just not my thing. Racing is just not my thing. So yeah, unless like a lot of you guys really like convince me to do more with emu flight, I'm gonna keep steering you guys back to betaflight because I still think it's better. I still think that all of the actual data that's out there, like the logs and stuff like that, it certainly seems to still show that the RPM filters are game changing. Yeah, I'm please, if you guys have some like more factual data showing that emu flight is better than betaflight when they're both properly tuned. I'm not talking about like fully tuned emu flight versus not tuned betaflight. I'm also not talking stock betaflight versus stock emu flight. Stock betaflight is not really a thing. There's no reason to leave betaflight stock. It is a flight firmware that is very specifically designed to work for everything. So the defaults are very safe. All of the other firmware designers have chosen to not go that route. They're able to do that thanks to betaflight, right? Like betaflight's continued support of everyone is pretty fucking cool. Like it's pretty cool that they've chosen to say, all right, we're willing to sacrifice flight performance and get, shit talked basically, because we care about everyone and because we want this software to work for everybody's rigs, not just the high performance rigs that are built really clean with high performance components, expensive components, stuff like that. So yeah, Corollas, it fell off in the shower. Herpes strap. Corollas with a $4 super chat. I think referring to the lack of a Band-Aid. I have whatever you want to call it, generalized anxiety disorder, is one of the names for it, and one of my terrible habits is to pick at my fingers, and yeah, so a lot of times I have Band-Aids on, and I think that's what Corollas is referring to. I'm a crazy person. You guys are choosing to watch a crazy person. Thank you for doing that. Maybe you're crazy too. I'm here to tell you it's okay. It's okay to be a crazy person. I was born this way. I was born crazy. No, I developed craziness. RC Addict says, thank you. You're certainly welcome. Infinity Loop says, hello. Ripper FPV says, I'm from Yorkshire. Nice. Yorkshire is where they make the pudding, right? I'm sorry. That was lowbrow. Seth says, I bought a 6S 450 mAh battery back from 2 volts. I brought it back from 2 volts. It still flies. Is that weird or no? Seth, great. Thank you for mentioning that. When you guys over discharge a battery, so we talked about like water rescues. Now we're going to talk about battery rescue. Today it's rescue day, I guess, on the stream. If you over discharge a battery, if you fly a battery and the goggle strap giveaway. Thanks, Corollas, for another $2.99. What were we just talking about? Batteries. If you over discharge a battery, and what over discharge means is that the resting voltage is less than 3.5 volts. So if you fly a battery, it drops down below 3.5 volts in flight. You might still be okay, because once you bring it back to yourself and disarm it, the voltage is going to typically bounce back up. If the voltage bounces back up but it's still lower than 3.5, that battery is in peril, basically. And it is your job, as soon as possible, to bring that battery back up above 3.5 volts per cell. The quicker that you do that, the better chance that you have that battery is going to be ruined, essentially. Just basically think of, if a battery is at less than 3.5 per cell, just in your head think like that it's sitting there eating itself. I don't know what's actually happening, but that's how I think of it, and it encourages me to get it back up above 3.5 volts per cell, and I've done that a bunch of times, and I've saved them. essentially it hurts the internal resistance of the battery if it's below 3.5 per cell, and the longer it's below 3.5, the more it hurts the internal resistances, and it just, yeah, that just ruins the battery. So yeah, thanks for saying that, Seth. Not weird at all. You just did the right thing. You got it up above 3.5 per cell quick enough that the battery didn't eat itself. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that battery is hurt. You can't bring these batteries down below 3.5 per cell without hurting them. How much hurt is, yeah, it depends. But yeah, that's just, you did what you could and rock that battery until that. What's going to happen is eventually that cell is probably going to drop, or if you run an internal resistance test on that battery, I bet you that cell is going to be a higher internal resistance because it spent some time eating itself. Wow, it's getting brighter and brighter in here. This stream is looking less and less sexy. That's not helping though. Hold on. Oh yeah, right. We don't have any curtains on that window either. Okay, never mind. Yeah. Tomorrow night's stream will look 10 times sexier. If you want a stream that looks and is lit well, Monday night at 10 o'clock Eastern. It's down here. Here it is. Mondays at 10 o'clock. This Monday is not a giveaway Monday, though. We do the giveaways every other week. There she is. There's my lovely wife. You're off the rails today. If you came for FPV content today, look at this one. Look at this one wearing overalls. Farmer Kristen in the house.
No. I'm a mess today. Sorry.
Admitting it is the first step, man. Oh, now I got this sunlight hit me in the eyeballs.
I just got great
Fuck you,
coffee
son.
because of the sunlight. It's your bane of your existence, but it's great.
That's true. Yeah, Kristen's doing photography. She's a graphic designer that's been doing more and more photography because her clients can use that. And yeah, I did photography for a long time, and she's gotten really good in a short time, and it makes me very jealous. KH says VCC on a GPS goes to a 5-volt pad, right? Chat, do me a favor, confirm that for me. K space H, KAY space H. Tag that person and let them know whether or not VCC on a GPS goes to a 5-volt pad. My hunch is yes, but I have no experience with GPS. Luckily, there's people in the chat that can confirm it. So, K, stand by. Hopefully the collective, or the what do we call ourselves now? The troll hunters. Hopefully the troll hunters will will confirm. The troll hunters. I love it already. Gary Higgins says, can you run 1404 on the Ripsqueak? Yes, for sure, Gary. I prefer 1404s on a 2.5-inch prop, but they will totally work if you were to go 3-inch bi-blade. They'll work great. If you are going to go 3-inch on those and you don't want to go bi-blade, I would say go with the lightest weight 3-inch tri-blade, which is the Gemfan 3016. And you'll get okay performance. I really prefer jumping up to either a 1306 or a 1504.5 from Brother Hobby on a 3-inch prop. The Ripsqueak is a 3-inch frame, which is why I'm going on this tangent. Also, Gary, there are 1404s that are 9x9 mount base. There are 1404s that are 12x12 mount base, so be careful. If you bought your Ripsqueak Micro more than like a week or two ago, you've got the 9x9 only arms. So just keep that in mind. If you bought your Ripsqueak recently, you may have gotten the fancy new 9x9 and 12x12 mount arms. and then you don't have to worry about it. Speaking of, Ripsqueak, something's going on with YouTube. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. I'm just gonna keep going in hopes that you guys can still see me. Yes, Ripsqueak Micro. They're still in prototype, but there are arms that exist now that are 9x9 and 12x12. Thanks, Daniel. And that's a big deal. Bill from BQE also made these new arms big enough to clear these amazing GEP-RC prop guards. The Ripsqueak Micro, in one fell swoop, just became the only 3-inch frame to buy, in my opinion. And also, he's playing around with longer, see the difference in length? He's playing around with longer 4-inch, I believe, arms. Yeah, this is the one, boys and girls. This is the best that there is. Almost regardless of what you're looking to do, this is going to be the best 3-inch freestyle frame. This is going to be a frame that you can put guards on to convert it into like half a Cinewoop that doesn't have the big slow ducts. You can put the 4-inch arms on it and do long-range stuff with tiny little motors if you're into that kind of thing. It's got mounting for an Insta360 Go on the top and the front as well as in the back on this frame. The arms are the right thickness. The arms have more motor protection than anybody else. I would still like a little bit to see a little bit more motor protection. Yeah, if you're looking to buy a 3-inch frame and you want to do any of those things, I can't possibly see a reason to buy anything other than this. I have searched long and hard for a proper 3-inch frame, and for many years. Rotorius made the best for a long time, and I got to be a part of that process and work with them, and I got a bunch of their prototypes, which I've personally been flying. Unfortunately, the company changed ownership and doesn't have any interest in making those frames anymore. So unfortunately, I have a bunch of those Rotorius really amazing CB3 frames, but I don't have a way of getting them into anybody else's hands, even after months and months and, Christ, years of practically begging the new owner of the company, which it's a shame, but yeah, I did what I could, and now moving on, and luckily Bill from BQE has a frame that ticks almost all of those boxes. It's the closest that we've got. If there's ever a CiottiFPV frame, micro frame, it will tick all those boxes, and in my opinion, be the only frame to get, because there's kind of no reason for us to have. There's no reason for us not to have something that we can configure to do it all. Really hardcore freestyle, guarded, cinema work around people, long range. Like, I understand that all of these companies and frame designers are making very specific frames to capture those very specific groups of people, right, that do all those individual types of flying, but it feels like a little bit of a money grab to me, because yeah, there's, with a little bit of thought and a little bit of engineering, much like with 5-inch, you can have a frame that kind of does it all. And you could even argue that a micro will do it all better than a 5-inch rig, because Stan FPV does make 5-inch ducts, but I had issues with his 3-inch ducts being insanely fragile, and breaking. Like, I bumped into a door frame at one point, and the duct just completely exploded. I landed a little bit too hard with another one, and the duct just completely exploded. And that was on 3-inch. So to scale those ducts up to 5-inch, they're not going to have a hope in hell of surviving. 5-inch rigs have achieved a weight that flies really, really well in a freestyle sense, but I don't think they translate well over into being like one rig to do it all. I think that 3-inch is weirdly done a better job with that, just because we're dealing with less weight, and these prop guards are like crazy strong. So yeah, like if somebody was to kind of come to me today and be like, all right, I just want to buy one rig to do everything. I want to be able to do cinematic stuff. I want to be able to fly around people safely, full-blown freestyle, bando, bashing, long range, right? Like all the different individual disciplines that are within FPV. This is it, man. This is it right here. And yeah, removable arms, and a company that's willing to make different removable arms, right? Like a company that's willing to make a standard set, but then maybe a set of dead cats for the front, like what FPV Cycle does with the Glide. What BQE does that I love, they make 2.5-inch arms for this, and then they make 2 different thicknesses of 3-inch arms for this. So you can do a lightweight 3-inch arm, you can do a more bando bashery 3-inch arm. The companies that are willing to do that with removable arms, I mean, that's a big deal. That's a really big deal, because like a frame's a frame, man. Like the center section of a frame, it's got to hold a couple stacks. It's got to hold a couple PCBs. You guys know what I'm going to say, right? It's got to hold a battery on the top. Like, it's all about the arms, yo. Why are there not? I know why there aren't. It's not good for business. But yeah, frames with different arm options are kind of a game changer. It's not anything that I ever thought would be so great, but now that I've had it on the Glide frame, I can't go back. I'm gonna give this Moon Goat as fair of a test as I possibly can, but I can guarantee you guys that it's not unless they offer some different arm options to make it a platform that can be more adaptable. It's not gonna become my main frame. The Glide frame is super unique in that you can build it to do a million different things. No zero up tilt with no props in view, no problem. 5.5-inch props, no problem. 6-inch props, no problem. 7-inch props, no problem. Dead cat front arms, great. True X front arms, great. Really good motor protection, the best motor protection in the business. So yeah, I've been very spoiled by Glide frames because of that, and it's really opened my eyes to how important that is. And if you're thinking, oh well, I don't care about that, I'll just buy the best long range frame and fly that, and then I'll buy the best freestyle frame and fly that. Well, okay, sure. When you're starting off, that's going to be fine, and that's probably going to be fun, and it's also going to help you sort of figure out what you like and what you don't like, right? Trying different things is good in that respect, but once you start to get good as a pilot, that is not what you want. You do not want each platform that you've got to be completely different, because they're all going to fly very different, and trying to adjust from one to the other is very, very difficult and makes progressing as a pilot almost impossible. So yeah, having one frame that you can then configure, those different configurations are going to make that frame feel differently, But the fact that it's the same center section of the frame and just there are some other parallels there, it's going to be as close as you can possibly get to the same flight experience across your fleet, right? And that's, in my opinion, really important. In my path as a pilot, it's been very important for me to be able to continue to get better, to fly the same things over and over again. And when we look at arguably the best freestyle pilot of all time, Steele Davis, I don't think it's a coincidence that he flies the same thing over and over and over again, and he preaches it, right? Like, he says it all the time. Like, stop flying different stuff if you want to get better as a pilot. Start flying the exact same thing every time you go out. It's something I used to deal with in motorsport as well. I would have students who would show up with one of the biggest mistakes in autocross is waiting to get started. There's this attitude that, like, oh, my car's not ready, I'm gonna wait until I have coilovers and sticky tires and big fat wheels, and all these other things, and then I'll go autocrossing, or run track days or whatever. And that's the biggest mistake you can possibly make. The best thing you can possibly do is stop, and whatever you have, go right now. As long as it's not going to blow up, right? But in autocross, cars don't blow up. It just doesn't happen. The best thing you can possibly do is just go right now. And not only are you going to give yourself a baseline that you can then compare to as you spend money on parts, but you're also going to start meeting and talking to the people that are going to guide you in the correct direction as to what you should buy, to stay in the class that you should be in, for example, or the group of people that you want to hang out with and compete with, or any number of different things. And also when you're on a more stock setup, you can't adjust anything. I would have these students that would be so obsessed with that would be like at their third event, and they would be obsessed with tuning their shocks, their shock damping, or their tire pressures. And I would like practically beg them to just stop thinking about that and just think about their driving. Just leave the car alone. And one of the things we would say is to tighten the nut behind the wheel. Because yeah, it's with these performance-based things, right? Driving, flying, whatever. 99% of it is pilot, and then 1% is your rig and your setup and all that good stuff. So yeah, if you want to be better as a pilot, stop changing shit. just put stick time in. And like, even when you see something that you want to change, just like resist the urge, deal with it. You're going to sort of learn to fly around it, which is a really good skill to have. And then down the road, if you decided like it's too much to fly around or it's really an issue, then you can change it. But resist the urge to change. Fly the same stuff as much as you possibly can. It's going to really help. I am almost an hour behind on the chat. Holy crap. Tiago says, when did you get around in just comments, write down how to do it, you'll get... Oh, yeah. When you get around in just comments, write down how you do it, you'll get $1 billion. Yeah, agreed. Angel Padron says, hope you're well. Question, Zing E2207. Maybe being this behind in chat is a part of the success of the stream. Is it? Do you guys ask questions and then you begrudgingly stay to hear the answer? Is that a key to my success? I don't want to do that. I don't want to hold you guys hostage. That's just a random weird thought I had. Question, Zing E2207 2450 versus T-Motor Velox V2 2207 2550. Really good question, Angel. Here's the law. I have not spent time on the Zing E2207s personally. I have on the Veloxes. I have friends that have spent, friends that I trust who spent time on the Zing Es. Both of those motors are very durable. I'll bet you the Zing is going to be a little bit more durable, maybe just a little bit more durable. Here's the problem with the Zing is that they're heavier. The weight on the ends of the arms is incredibly important, and nobody talks about it. Mainly because everything that we do, pitch, roll, and yaw, moves the ends of the arms the maximum amount, right? Like, look at this frame. What part of the frame is moving the most? It's the ends of the arms, right? What part's moving the most? The ends of the arms, right? What parts, or I guess I did, I don't know, I forgot one. Whatever. So yeah, weight on the ends of the arms has more and more of a negative impact on the performance of the rig, and it also puts more stress on the pit loop. So I'm going to recommend the Veloxes for sure, because I have not gotten the feeling that the Zing E's are that much, if any. They might actually... The Zing motors just have a reputation for being really durable. But I found the Veloxes to be really durable. I crashed them pretty good, and they were totally fine. So my hunch is going to be that the Zings are a tiny little bit more durable. That's just a hunch. That could be totally wrong. The Veloxes are definitely lighter weight, and that is definitely going to fly better, give you better PID loop performance. It's even going to crash a little bit better because there's going to be less weight to smash into the concrete. So in my opinion, Velox V2 2207 2550 over the Zing E. Chibi Kaju says, planning on doing a Mobula 6 conversion to bi-blade props on a 75mm frame. Good idea or not worth it? Good idea if the goal is more flight time. Yeah, I mean, that's... It's going to gain weight, so like flight performance is going to suffer a little bit, but bi-blade props are going to be more efficient. Yeah, with tiny whoops, the biggest issue with tiny whoops is a lack of power to weight. So adding weight by going from 65 up to 75 is rough, because flying inside the house in really tight quarters, adding like an extra gram, you can feel it, and it makes it more difficult to fly. So yeah, I'm always very hesitant to add any weight to a tiny whoop, unless there's a really good reason for it. So like, for example, my 75mm tiny whoops are up on an 1102 motor, because an 1102 motor is the size that it seems to be needed to properly control the quad blade, bigger, heavier propellers. You can get around that by going to the bi-blade 75mm propellers, right? So you don't have to go up to the 1102. You can still run the 0802s, but you're adding more weight. So yeah, if you're flying that rig outside, awesome. But I don't understand flying tiny whoops outside. To me, tiny whoop is an inside only rig. Every time I've ever flown a tiny whoop outside, it's been a little bit of a nightmare. Like when I crash, it gets the ducts all disgusting and dirty. It gets lost. I can't find the damn thing. It gets knocked all around by the wind. I just don't get it. I don't understand the tiny whoop outside thing. If I'm going to fly outside, it's not going to be a ducted rig. It's going to be a toothpick. And now we've got like 65mm toothpick frames. So yeah, for me, tiny whoops are very specifically for inside, because that's just the use, you know. It's the tool for that job. Remington says, do you think I'm just a sellout for your ego? Nah, man, you'll never hear it from me. If you're doing something wrong, don't believe a stranger who is just an ass. Listen to people you trust. That's why I posed it to you guys, because I literally do trust you guys. I agree, Dan. Mr. Huggy says, if we are simming today, freestyle in the Polyworld Velocity. I couldn't remember that. I wasn't going to sim today. I was going to... I named this stream Cinewoop Sunday, because I was going to dive into... well, let me grab them to force this to happen. This is the culmination of my attempt to move an Insta360 go around in an interesting manner, and I need to spend some time moving some things around and swapping some things from here to there. So, yeah. Hit that really hard just now. This guy I'm not going to do anything with. I don't know why I grabbed that one. And these two are just in need of more flying. I don't know why I grabbed them. Yeah, what am I doing? I only needed to grab the first two. So yeah, worth it depends on what you're going to do with it, Chibi. For me, I really like the 65mm whoops inside. The only real reason for a 75mm whoop, in my opinion, is it makes carrying an Insta360 Go a little bit easier. So if that's in the card, that I forgot to mention that, Chibi. If you're looking to carry an Insta360 Go at some point with your tiny whoop, then 75mm is going to be a good choice. But at that point, you're not going to want those bi-blades, and you're also not going to want those 0802s. You're going to want to move to an 1102 with the big quad blades to get enough thrust for the damn thing. Mr. Huggy, we got that. Tiago says, sorry, Kristen, the other Dr. K. See? Wasn't talking about you after all. The fact that I didn't put 2 and 2 together doesn't mean anything. CNN Business, Harvard trained psychiatrist is on Twitch helping gamers with their mental health. No shit. That's pretty awesome. Is she blonde? Kristen says.
Seems like a girl I know from other stuff that does the same thing.
Nope.
All right, never mind.
Wow, that's super cool. Good find, man. I'm gonna drop that link since I'm thinking 16 hours behind in chat. Very cool. Good call, Tiago. Hermie Sim says, I hate you, son. Father of the year. RC Addict says, what are some mods for the Mobula 6? RC Addict, I'm going to be honest. Don't. don't mod the Mobula 6. Maybe the camera, I guess, but don't touch the rest of it because it's got... If I were to do it all over again with the tiny whoops, I would have just bought like 3 Mobula 6s. The setup of components that they have is not the best, but it ticks the most boxes. There's never a best. There's just different. There's sometimes there's the worst when components just catch on fire. HGLRC, but yeah, there's never a best. There's just different, and all of our jobs is to figure out which of the different ones fit best for the way that we fly and where we fly and all that good stuff. So, yeah, the Mobula 6 just happened to stumble into an AIO that's a really good, an unreliable AIO, but an AIO that has the VTX built in and the receiver built in, which makes it really lightweight, which is a big deal with tiny whoops, so it kind of checks a box there. It's an AIO that has the standard motor plugs, which I can't believe is such a big deal, but unfortunately Newbie Drone has made that a big deal by holding us hostage a little bit with their choice to go to PH 1.25 connectors and force our hand, and because we want to use Newbie Drone's AIOs because they make a better quality AIO, but being forced to either run motors that in my and most opinions are not the right KVs and don't make nearly enough power, or to have to remove those and try to direct solder tiny whoop motors to infinitesimally small pads. Yeah. I love Newbie Drone so much, I really do, but I'm just at such a loss with this PH 1.25 connector that they're using. It's really, it's killing me, man. You're fucking killing me, Smalls. KVFPV says, what sim are you flying on today? I wasn't planning on doing simming today, thus the Cinewoop Sunday name. I was going to jump back into it next week, but you're the second person that's asked, so I mean, if you guys all want me to sim instead of playing with or moving tiny whoops from one frame to the other, I'll do what you guys tell me to because you're my bosses. Since many of you lovely bastards go over to CiottiFPV.com and do all the things that I've got there for you to support me. Maybe that's going over to my Etsy store and buying some stickers or some random hardware stuff. Maybe that's going to Fiverr and hiring me to help you fly better or tune better or build or edit videos better. Or maybe that's hitting the Patreon link and doing like $3 a month to get over there, or 5 or 10 or 20 if you want to get into the bi-weekly giveaways. So yeah, there you guys go. Or you can just click some stuff down here if you'd like, and that helps too, according to YouTube. I don't know how or why, but I'm told that it helps, and I know that I should tell you guys to do it. So I did that. Brian Ledmeraw says, talk about the GoPro BS. Maybe we can figure something out. Maybe we can figure something out as the collective. Brian, I talked about it a little bit ago. I wonder if you left that comment before I talked about it. I bet you did. I bet you I'm literally an hour behind. So I think I've taken care of that already. If anybody missed it, you can rewind probably like 20 or 30 minutes into the stream. I think we started talking about it. BeepTube says the Foxeer Digicite is in stock at GetFPV. Foxeer Digicite. Where the hell's GetFPV? There it is. All right, leaving that tab opened. I believe that's the new SharkBite camera. Yes, it is. And I do have SharkBite, and it will be going into a glide when the Moon Goat is finished up, which will be this week. So I'm very interested in this Foxeer Digicite, and it's a nano camera, and that is super awesome. And it comes in red. All good though. It's $50 though. Well, it's an HD camera. I guess that's what we're dealing with from now on. That's the thing that's kept me out of HD, is just the expense. It's expensive, and one of the things I love most about this hobby is how inexpensive it is. So I really try my best and sort of have to gravitate towards the less expensive stuff. Wrong Way FPV with a $20 super chat an hour ago. Sorry I made you wait this long, Wrong Way. And thank you for being so generous, man. That's amazing. I have LED strips with 4 LEDs in them. Do I count the whole strip as one, or the 4 individual LEDs on the strip when configuring in Betaflight? Having a hard time getting them to work. So as long as they're addressable, I'm assuming that you know this, Wrong Way, but just to give a full answer, because we do have new folks here. As long as they're addressable LEDs, every time I've ever had that experience, they are individually addressable. So in that crazy LED menu in Betaflight, yeah, those are going to be individuals. The addressable LED thing, it's confusing, Wrong Way. It's not just you, man. It's kind of a crazy setup. But there's a Bardwell and there's a Project Blue Falcon video here on YouTube. Just search for like Betaflight addressable LED probably, and you'll find them. And those guys, there's more than just their 2 videos, but they'll be the 2 that raise the top, and they're the 2 that I have to use every time I do anything with addressable LEDs, because I don't do it often enough to remember it. So yeah, look up those guys' videos, and they will walk you through the weird setup that you have to do in that LED screen in order to address them properly, because it doesn't work. It's not logical in any way. It's like there's not a way to just go in there and be like, all right, let me just do this in a way that would make sense, because it doesn't. So yeah, dude, thank you so much, brother. Supporting the cause, much appreciated. Pandemic Pilot says, I'll never let you live it down, and we'll always get a laugh, so it is forever. Pandemic Pilot talking about Californian dollars rather than Canadian dollars. Quad Whisperer has a quad question, LOL. I'm getting death rolls on a heavy whoop. Thoughts on PID settings? Death rolls are almost never connected to PID settings. Death rolls are typically an ESC MOSFET failing. What you want to do is this, Quad Whisperer. Try to get it to do it while you're DVRing. The reason I say that is because it's hard to tell which direction the quad flips when you're flying. It's a lot easier to tell in the DVR when you can rewind it 800 times. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to figure out which corner of the rig is dropping out. It's probably the same corner every time. So that's what you're looking for. Get your DVR going. Try to get it to do that behavior a couple times, and then watch the DVR. And just look at... You'll figure it out. Watch the DVR, and you should be able to figure out whether or not it's one corner that's letting go every time. Once you've figured that out, let's say you realize that it's the right front that drops every time. Like, you watch the DVR and you look at like the streaks, and you're able to figure it out, and you can tell that the streaks mean that it's rotating in this direction every time it does it, right? Now you know that either this motor or this ESC channel is blown up. Take that motor, switch it with any other motor, right? Just switch them. And then go out and do it again and see if it's still dropping that corner. If it's still dropping that corner, the motor's not the problem. That channel of the ESC is the problem. I think you said whoop. Yeah, heavy whoop. So you're going to be replacing the entire AIO, which blows. But it's one of the big reasons that I am not moving over to AIOs on all my stuff. I am still violently 20x20 loyal. Because, yeah, ESCs die. And when an ESC dies that's on the same board as everything else, you got to throw the whole thing away. And you got to do all new setup and all the other pains in the ass. So, yeah. Think about that. If you're very gung-ho on the hype train right now of converting every single rig that you've got over to a Tiny Whoop AIO board, I fear for you. I hope it goes okay for you, but I fear for you. I don't think we're there yet. I think maybe we'll get there someday, but I don't even know. I still don't know if it makes sense. Two 20x20 boards is not that much heavier than one 26x26 Whoop AIO. It feels to me like it might. I also really like the idea of having all the high voltage stuff on the ESC, and just sending the flight controller a little bit of VBAT. But yeah, keeping as much of the electrical noise on a separate PCB in the form of a 20x20 ESC. I still feel like that's a better setup than just ramming everything onto one board. But I have to assume that at some point the AIOs will develop some reliability, but not yet, that's for sure. Guillermo says, I found thanks, Guillermo. That's good. I will prevent him from being able to watch my content. Family Guyver just went and spent money on a new GoPro 7 Black. Hopefully made the right move. Thought about an Insta360R. Family Guyver, send... I was going to say send GoPro a message and say, hey, I just bought a GoPro 7 Black, and now you took away my ability to adjust the settings. Give me my money back, right? It feels like a legit bait and switch, right? And we have laws against that in the U.S. Yeah, it's interesting. Any of you guys know a little bit more than I do, which is not much, about the bait and switch laws here in the U.S.? I wonder if there's a leg to stand on with that. Those laws are legit. Like companies get, like, yeah, the U.S. government does not let companies do that shit. Like, they will come down on you like the hammer of Thor if you try to pull that shit. And also, we also have anti-gouging laws, which is great. The U.S. government has a lot of really good. It's very easy to talk so much shit on the U.S. government, but man, like when you actually look at what they do, they have they have a lot of really amazing things in place that help a lot of people out and really make things make life better. You know, go figure. Humanity has gotten together to build a government to make things better, and by accident made a bunch of things better. Like, yeah, it's not perfect, not saying that at all, but yeah, a lot of wonderful systems and programs within the government that many people have had to rely on in times of need. So don't be an anarchist. I know it seems like a good idea, but I promise you, you would not like what an anarchy looks like. Dauntless says, what about that remote app thing that Joshua talked about? Yeah, we just don't have the preview. It's yeah. And it's a paid app. It's a $10 application. So, yeah. For no reason, GoPro yanks the rug out, and now we have to... And not only do they do that, but we now also have to spend $10, right? That like should double piss you off. Chibi says, any tips for breaking down larger packs to make some 1S batteries for my baby tooth? Or just buy some big 1S batteries and not be a cheap bastard? Chibi, I have tried. I have tried to pull batteries apart, and I have seen what is required to solder to the little tabs, and I've attempted to do it, and it didn't go well. And as it was not going well, like, I realized how sort of dangerous I knew how dangerous it was, but it really drove home how kind of sketchy it was. And I stopped. I threw the battery. I recycled the battery, and I have not gone back since. It's not that sketchy if you know what you're doing until it is. So I'm not. Yeah, I don't recommend that anybody do that. I don't recommend that anybody try to take these batteries apart and screw around with them. It's just not worth it. These batteries aren't expensive enough for that to be worth it. If we were buying Mavic batteries at like $100 a pop or whatever the hell they cost, I'd be singing a totally different tune. But our batteries are very dangerous. The chemicals in there are really nasty. People have lost their homes and their cars and God knows what else from lipo fires. So yeah, my opinion on the matter is just like trash it and just suck it up and just buy a new battery, and don't mess around. Maybe before you throw it away, like peel the shrink wrap off so you can see how creepy it is, right? Because you're gonna and don't throw them away, recycle them, save them, put them in a safe spot, and then bring them to like Best Buy or Walmart. They have bins in the front, or Target. I don't know if Walmart actually does. It wouldn't. I would hope that they have the bins, but it kind of wouldn't surprise me if they didn't. Target definitely has them, and Best Buy definitely has battery recycling bins. It's important. We don't want lithium polymer batteries in landfills. It's actually a big deal. But yeah, so that's definitely my recommendation. But do look at it because it is creepy. Like when you see what's going on under the shrink wrap of a battery, it gave me a lot more respect for these batteries because I was like, this is the janky ass shit that's going on in here. I'm not gonna be even a little. I'm gonna freaking like. Here's how I'm gonna treat these batteries from now on. And yeah, it's good to have a healthy fear. It is a healthy fear to be afraid of these batteries. That is a very healthy fear. It's sort of a great definition of healthy fear. Am I any less than a half an hour behind? No, I'm more than an hour behind now. Great. Come on, YouTube. Oh, YouTube, you bastard. Oh wow, I just lost a bunch of comments. Okay, so a bunch of comments just rolled off the top, and now YouTube won't even let me look at them. So here we go. Abraham says QR control app iOS still works. Generates a QR code to change ProTune settings. Started with GoPro Labs, either as a group or individually. Not an excuse for GoPro, but it is an option. So that's good. That the QR control app on iOS that Abraham is referring to allows us to not have to pay $10, which is good. That is a good thing. We still lose preview, and it's still absolutely insane, as Aber says in the end, that GoPro. But they did it, and let's troubleshoot and figure out what we need to do. Nathan Hawk says, should I have air mode on? Absolutely, Nathan. The only time to turn air mode off is supposedly inside of like tight like buildings. Cinewhoops fly a little bit better without air mode, specifically when you get like close to the ground or you're close to walls and there's a lot of like swirling air and stuff. So I have air mode on a switch, so I can turn it off, but I almost never turn it off. 99.9% of the time, yes, you want air mode on. It's a big deal. Remy Tim says, yeah, you want matching antenna orientation. Both vertical is supposed to be better, but both horizontal is fine. One vertical and one horizontal is the worst. Huff19 says, in regards to your Fiverr service, what is your availability for the tuning services? Would we just schedule a time, and what software would I need for a virtual meet? Thanks, Huff. Great question. So, full disclosure, I fucked up yesterday. I forgot yesterday was Saturday. I thought yesterday was Friday, and I missed my first Fiverr meeting with somebody, which I'm making right. I'm giving that person 2 sessions, and we're meeting after this stream, actually. Huge. I'm sorry for that. I fucked up. I thought yesterday was Friday. Pandemic has really fucked up my ability to know what day is what. Even though I make streams most days and type what day it is into the stream, that doesn't mean that my brain actually knows what day it is. So yeah, my availability is pretty open, especially during the day. Anytime from like 12 o'clock until 8 or 9 at night, on most days. So yeah, I have really good availability, and normally I remember and don't fuck up. I swear. Would we just schedule a time? Yes, when you go in Fiverr and you purchase the gig, it opens up a chat dialogue. So we just talk back and forth in there, figure out a day and a time, and then in terms of software, I love Skype and Zoom because we can do face-to-face, and like you can share your screen and you can like scroll through Betaflight, and I can say, oh, you got that set wrong, change that, or you've got this set one way, try it a different way. But we don't have to do that. We could do a literal phone call. We could do Discord chat. There's a million different ways that we can get on the line, and you guys can ask me one-on-one any questions you can possibly think of, and we can get you dialed in so that your rig flies basically as good as mine. Yeah, thanks for the segue, Huff. I would love to see you over there, my man. FPV Republic says, hey, 2 Thumbs 405 says, on the right map. Oh, interesting, 2 Thumbs. 2 Thumbs, what happens when you center the throttle? If you center the throttle, does it stop the forever rotation that you've got going on that I know we were troubleshooting probably an hour and a half ago? Brian Ladmore says, I got your Cinesplore ducks printed out this weekend, 10 hours. Whoa, 10 hours, Jesus. We'll be shipping ASAP. Thanks, Brian, much appreciated. Super, super, super cool of you. I can't wait to try them. Brian, can you print me something else? Can you print something else for me? I keep forgetting you guys to. I keep forgetting to ask you guys to print me a couple of things for this. After the moon goat, after the shark bite, we're gonna be building the QAV Cinna Freybot, and I don't have any TPU for it, which is one of the reasons that I haven't built it yet. I hope I hope Brian's still in here. But I'm dropping a couple links to stuff that I've been meaning to beg, borrow, and steal. Mainly just beg you guys to print out for me. And I'm dropping them in the chat. And like, since you're already sending me something, Brian, I would be forever grateful if you could, if it's not too much time. These are small things, so I have a feeling they'll be quick prints. So I don't feel that bad asking you. Yeah, those 3 things there, I have a feeling you can fit them on the same, whatever. What's it called? Platter? Pad? I'm the worst with 3D printed stuff. Whatever. You guys know what I mean. Yeah, dude, I would love it. I already love it, but I would love it even more. All right, so there's that. I dropped those into the chat. Thank you, Brian. Ruben Tim says, Gary Higgins, unfortunately, I don't have an answer for that. If you ask CiottiFPV and come back and rewatch the stream, you'll be good, or message him on Instagram. So I'm looking for Gary Higgins' comment. Ruben, I hate to ask a question, but I'm going to have to run. Do you think 1404 eco motors will fit on a rig? Oh, okay, so we already talked about that. Yeah, see, that's one of the big problems of me being so behind on the stream. I don't know how to fix that problem. I want to give you guys... The whole point of this, in my opinion, is to be here for you guys and to talk through this stuff. And I want to give you guys full answers. I don't want to just say yes or no, or because that's just not what I want to do here. I want this to be... Yeah. Answering FPV questions in like less than 10 words, in my opinion, is kind of dangerous, and it just doesn't, it's just not enough to bring like the full, to give like a real answer that's going to be good for you guys. And I think that's the main thing, is that there is no best, right? There's just different, and without a little bit more of a conversation, I find it impossible to make a suggestion for you guys that's going to be like really good, and that's what I care about. I care about good. So yeah, I don't know what the solution is, but it is a little bit annoying to be an hour behind and to have you guys like have to wait for your answers or go back and rewatch for your answers. I don't know. I'll keep thinking about it, I guess. Two Thumbs says, and it actually flies. That's crazy. Two Thumbs, do me a favor. Since it's going to be almost impossible to troubleshoot something like that while I'm so far behind on chat, shoot me a message. CiottiFPV, anywhere. Instagram, Facebook, Patreon, whatever you got. Shoot me a message, and we will one-on-one troubleshoot it. In the same way that I do on Fiverr. Hey! Yeah, I do the also, like, just in case anybody's freaking out. The Fiverr thing is there as an extra. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, if you guys message me, as many of you do, all day, every day, which I love, keep doing it. This is not me complaining. If you message me, I will help you. Full stop. So I'm not holding you guys hostage by having these jobs on Fiverr. I'm putting them there in case you'd like to support me, just like all the other stuff. So don't freak out. I'm not a communist, I swear. Weirder with a Skateboard, Troll Hunters is a kids' TV program. Oh, God. And doing CLI makes me feel like a hacker. Yeah, that is true. There is a hacker vibe to doing anything in the CLI. Have any of you guys checked out Weirdo with a Skateboard's interview with me from yesterday? It's linked over on Discord in the general thing. Channel. Is that what they're called in Discord? Channels? I don't know. John Pod says, how much conformal coating I use on my boards, with how much conformal coating I use on my boards, they will work underwater. Do we need, I guess, well, every time my non-conformal coated rigs have gone into freshwater, they've stayed on. So technically, do we even need the conformal coating for them to work underwater? Or is it because I use higher end components and the higher end components come from the factory conformal coated? Is that what it is? I'm legitimately asking Drone Pilot this because Drone Pilot has a lot of experience conformal coating his stuff, and I don't, and I want to know. That is not a rhetorical question. I'm literally asking him that. That's because that's the beauty of the fucking collective, boys and girls. Drone Pilot also says I use iNav for my long-range quads only and Betaflight for everything else. Carlos Batros with a $3.99 super chat. Thank you for the support. What happened? Oh, to the herpes strap. Carlos, are you saying have you not gotten the herpes strap yet? If you haven't, I'm 99% sure that it shipped out either the beginning of this last week or maybe the week before that. None of which really matters because the postal system is a hot mess right now because of the elections, especially here in Georgia. We had a huge, as we all found out Tuesday of last week, we had a huge win in our local elections, so the mail service here in Georgia is even worse than the rest of the country because of how serious that local election or Senate election was. But hold on one second, Curl. Well, hey, patrons, check your Patreon messages. I've got a ton of unclaimed giveaway stuff, and I'm gonna start calling it out on these streams more often because it's starting to take up like a significant amount of space, and I feel absolutely horrible. I would feel absolutely horrible if I won something and then just like didn't check my email for a while and then that person re-rolled it and gave it away, right? Like, we don't win things often, so like if you win something and then have it taken away, that really sucks. So I'm not gonna re-roll these for a long time because I'm gonna keep the faith that maybe you guys will catch it. Adam Romano, you've got free stuff. I need your address. Xavier Page. If you guys know any of these people, reach out to them. Xavier Page, free stuff. Adam Romano, you have two winning. I didn't realize that. I can combine. Yeah, Adam Romano, you won twice, bro. Answer me on Patreon or else. Wait, no, let me put these both in here. For the record, this is the reason that when you join the Patreon page now, it asks for your address. Because I don't want this to happen anymore. And I also don't want to have to force you guys to check your Patreon messages, right? Like, that's not a great situation. I wish I'd realized this at first. But better late than never. So I'm told. Yeah, so here's Adam Romano's stuff. There's another one sitting back here. Who's this? This one I didn't write a name on. That's not going well. Oh, yeah, this is for the person that randomly messaged me asking for Tiny Whoop parts with no real reason behind it. And I just said, okay, I have some stuff floating around. And then they disappeared on me. And they didn't give me their address. Who else? This is a recent one. Maniac. I need your address. Message me somewhere. You've got a Remix V2 waiting for you. Maniac with a K. Maniak. Shane Tyndall. Message me. Dan Paprocki. Message me. Sebastian. Message me. Tim Karsten. Message me. S. Eford. S space EFURD. Message me. Berend Baz, BERENDBAAS, message me. There's Xavier Page again. And the last person is Zach Kismartin. Look at this big fancy thing that you've got waiting for you, Zach. Where are you? Claim it. Frank Nicholas sent this over for the collective. And then you won it. And I want to send it to you. Because I want to know how it is. It looks really fancy and cool. Yeah. Check your Patreon messages, folks. The beauty of doing the giveaways through Patreon is that you don't have to come to the streams in order to win. The problem with that is, if you don't go to those streams, you won't know your win, and you guys know what I'm trying to say as my mouth fails to work, as it sometimes does. All right. Yeah, Carlos, if your package should be there soon, I promise. Strapelli UAV says, not new to FPV, but very new to using conformal coding. Could you please run down a quick list of things I might not want to cover with conformal coding? Any tips are appreciated. Absolutely, Strapelli. Basically, anything that's a connector. Think of it this way. Anything that needs to connect metal to metal ever again. So all of your plug headers, right, because they have metal pins that need to That was a mistake. I'm allergic to everything, and it's very dusty under there. Oh boy, that was a mistake. Well, this ought to be interesting. Here we go. Have you guys ever seen a man have an allergy attack live on stream? Stick around for 5 more minutes. You can watch the full suffering. Yeah, anything that you need to ever like connect metal to metal. So mainly plug headers, and if you've got like an HD board, or if your board has an SD card slot in it, that's it. So just look at the board and just think to yourself, like, what parts of this do I ever need to have metal-to-metal connection on again? Because the conformal coating is going to eliminate that possibility. It's going to coat the metal, and you're never going to be able to get metal-to-metal again. Luckily, a soldering iron will burn through conformal coating. So you can conformal coat like a 5-volt in the ground pad, and then just burn it off later if you need it. But that's not going to work inside of a plug header, right? You can't get the soldering iron inside of the plug header. Yeah. So there you go. Carollos with a $4 and a $3 super chats. What happened to my herpes strap? I was talking about the goggle strap giveaway. Thanks again for the support, brother. Should be there soon, I swear. If it's not, let me know, and I'll figure something else out. Grumpy FPV says, yes, Yorkshire is where the pudding comes from. Carollos with a $5 super chat as well. He says, F***, I forgot 5 6S batteries in the car yesterday. I landed on 3.1 volts. Oh, God. Also, well, yeah, I don't know. I was going to say don't keep batteries in the car. It is winter. Definitely don't keep batteries in the car in the summertime. I'm tempted to say don't keep them in the car ever, but if they're gonna blow up, I would rather have my car burn down than the house burn down, right? So like in the winter, I mean, you should have them in Kevlar fire bags anyway, so it shouldn't burn anything down. But right, in the wintertime I would kind of rather have, because like, so this apartment, for example, I don't really have a good spot to keep batteries. Like I could put them out on the wooden deck, or I could put them in the front wooden area. I don't have like a concrete pad where I can put them. So for me, it would kind of be safer to keep them in the car in the wintertime. And if the car burns down, at least the apartment didn't burn down, right? So yeah, There are some thoughts. Chomper FPV is in the house. Scrolling. 2 thumbs 405 says the quad flies normally, aside from rolling crazy. It does more of a barrel roll at high speed versus rolling on its axis. 2 thumbs. That everything you've said about this problem sounds crazy so far, and like I'm not finding any. The channel mapping thing was the only thing I could really think of. I'm not finding any like parallels, which is why I think that. Kevin Cortez says the car is full of gas. Good call, Kevin. So yeah, only leave them in your car if your car is parked in a spot where it can safely explode. It doesn't work like that, for the record. Hollywood has made us think that cars explode. The gas tanks in cars explode. Mythbusters actually have tested that more than once, I think, and they've found it extremely difficult to get a car gas tank to explode. It's obviously still not a great thing. But yeah, I guess if you're gonna, yeah, I don't know. I think so. I have both chats up. I have a current chat, and I have the chat that I'm working through. And Journey Droid said, "Don't keep lipos in the car in winter. Think of all the shaking you'll have to do." I think Droney Droid is referring to an old hoax video that came out. This is like OG FPV, like 3-4 years ago. Who was it? High Flight. Oh my god, I can't think of his name. From Australia. He flies gliders. Chad Nowak put out a video where he said that I forget what he said to do it, but he said that shaking your lipos reduces their internal resistance, and he shook it just like this, and it wasn't really a hoax. It was just them making fun. Final Glide, that's it, not High Flight. I think maybe that's what Droidy Droid is referring to. Maybe not though. Okay, back to the hour-old chat. Brian Ladmiral says, to save a battery that drops below same voltage, jump it. Make an XT60 or XT30 male-to-male connector and connect it to another properly discharged battery of like voltages for 5 to 10 seconds. The safest way that I've found to do this is with a Joshua Bardwell board. And the reason being is doing it the way that Brian is recommending it. It is an instantaneous connection, so the more charged battery is going to immediately just hammer on the battery that you're trying to recover, and that's a little bit dangerous. Brian does very specifically say of like voltages, in hopes that it's not that hard of a connection, right? This is going to work better though. The Joshua Bardwell parallel boards have fuses built in that clamp down to 1 amp when you do that. And if you get these little things from Amazon for like no money, if you're going to buy these from Amazon, do me a favor, use one of my Amazon affiliate links in the description or at CiottiFPV.com, and then I'll get a couple dollars for free. Yeah, these little guys have 2S, 3S, 4S, 5S, 6S on them. So yeah, this is how I prefer to jump a battery. You take the battery with the dead cell, you plug it in here to the balance board, you take technically speaking, because of these fuses, you can take a fully charged battery, but the fuses get really hot really fast, so don't do that. Just take a battery that's a little bit, that's of like voltages, exactly like Brian said, and you plug it in here. These fuses, as soon as you plug it in, these fuses are going to clamp down to 1 amp, and it's going to send 1 amp to this other battery, and it's going to try to recover those cells. So there's a little bit of a safer way to do it. Whenever you're playing around with any of that stuff, be like super careful, guys. Like right before you plug it in, just stop and just like look at what you're doing and give yourself 30 seconds to like Is this going to burn the whole house down? No? Maybe? Well... Remember a couple days, Drumepod says, remember a couple days back I said I use a big soldering iron for doing ESCs. I made a video soldering a 55 amp 4-in-1 on my channel and hold the ESC in my hands immediately, no heat. Good God, Drumepod, that's pretty impressive. Jesus. Remy Tim says, we've still got you smooth, CiottiFPV. Chomper says, good on my side. Okay, cool. So YouTube's thing was lying to me. Strange. Video's fine. Scott Gillen, hey, I'm kind of new. I've been flying micros for Christmas. Got a T-Motor FT5 freestyle quad. What do you think about the FT5? I like it, Scott. I think that the split top plate is risky, and I think that if you hit it hard enough, maybe you can break it, but I haven't heard... I was wondering... if after that thing came out, there was going to be like a windfall of people breaking that top plate. And it doesn't seem like there has been. So, yeah, I mean, it's a T-Motor rig, so it's going to have T-Motor electronics, which is a really good thing because they make really nice stuff. I mean, even if you break that frame, even if that frame becomes an issue, just swap the frame. The rest of the components in there are awesome. So yeah, even if the frame ends up being dog shit, whatever. Frames are cheap. Get a glide frame for $50, and you'll have a setup that's almost identical. That's pretty similar to what I fly and what has taken me 3 years to kind of figure out. So yeah, that's a good one, brother. Fly it, smash it, fix it, repeat. And welcome. Glad to have you, my man. Carlos says, would it fit a full AU? Carlos, I am sorry. I don't know what that's referencing. Do me a favor, Carlos. Tag me and ask me that question with a little bit more context, and I'll answer it. Drone Pilot says, I use the Gopro C 3-inch prop guards on a 3-inch, but the frame is Cinequeen from Get Up or C. It's heavy, but I like the guards too much. Yeah, these Gepar C guards, guys, they are magical. They're one of these like magic products that we'll probably never get again. Like the Gepar C just happened to like put these supports in the right place. They just happen to use the same or the right plastic. Yeah, I don't feel like they put $10,000 of R&D into these. I feel like they kind of stumbled into it, and so go get them while you can before they're gone. BQE sells them. Tell them I sent you. Tiago says, Josh Glenn has a good question. What do you do? What to do when you change cell count? I'm looking for Josh Glenn. Is there any horrendous, or is this just standard? But yes, only one motor. I'm going from 3S to 4S. Does this still apply? One that's different. But is there a new one that's different because of the same amp rating? I think I'm too far behind. Josh, luckily, Tiago is just as smart, if not smarter than I am, so he's probably already helped you and you're good to go. If you didn't like the help that you got from Tiago, tough shit. No. If you still have any questions, let me know and I'll help you out. But trust Tiago, he's a really smart dude. And I'm sure he didn't steer you wrong. Mr. Huggy says, remove alarms on a 3-inch like the Ladron Mod L. Ladron Mod L. I'm going to search that, but I'm then going to just go right back into the chat and keep going. So I searched for that, and it's just showing me pictures of LeBron James. So that's not worked. That's not gone well. Sick of Life 90 says, well, I feel like it's time to become a patron due to the fact that you're like the only live stream I watch now. I would love to have you, Sick of Life, but to be honest, you guys just hanging out with me and saying cool shit is all the payment that I've ever asked for. You guys are the ones that suggested Patreon, and you're that much cooler for it. But I'm saying all this just to make sure that you guys don't think that like you have to join the Patreon. I would love for you to join the Patreon. I think there's way more than $3 a month worth of value over there. But I just don't ever want you guys to feel like I don't want you guys ever to feel like I am leveraging money off of the people with mental health issues at 3 o'clock. They should start shooting people like that sooner. Not letting it go, yo. not letting it go. We're gonna expose this troll with this name here, and whenever we see them on the internet, we're gonna call them an asshole because they're an asshole to other people. Thank you, Sick of Life, for giving me the chance to do a little shill there. Mr. Huggy says the biggest reason Mr. Steele doesn't change his quad because he's so used to it. It's part of him, the muscle memory, etc. One little change can throw you off. Very, very true. Sick of Life saying, I can be a toothpick guy now that I'm part of the toothpick tier now. Nice. Thanks for joining, Sick of Life. Welcome to the collective, my friend. Quad Whisperer says, I'm getting death rolls on a heavy whoop. Thoughts on pit settings. Here's some more. Quad Whisperer, you added some more to this one. 2 of the same builds, same issue. Really interesting. Okay. I'm more intrigued than ever before, Quad Whisperer. I'm also still so far behind on the chat, though, that I'm going to ask you to just message me somewhere, and we're going to work on this one-on-one. CiottiFPV on Instagram, Facebook, Discord, Patreon, CiottiFPV.com. Yeah, get in touch with me, and let's get it fixed. Or alternatively, I do stream every day, so subscribe and click the bell. This stream here Sunday and the Monday night streams are very crowded, and they get backed up like this. But the Tuesday, the Wednesday, the Thursday, the Friday, the Saturday streams are a lot smaller, and it's a lot easier to not get super behind in chat and talk through stuff. So you can do that too. You can come to any one of my daily streams that's not quite as busy as this one, and we'll be able to talk through it in there, or just message me privately and we'll work it out, brother. Drone Pilot says, I have Zing motors that have gone for 1 year of flying maybe 10 packs a week, and only then did the Loctite need redoing, 2806.5 best. Now let's see my FPV cycle 30mm durability later. Yeah, Zing motors they're heavy, but they're durable, and that's that makes a lot of sense. That's been my experience in life with a lot of things, right? Like, hold on. You can't say it better than this. Copyright strikes, here I come. Some of you will already know what I'm gonna do here.
Where did you get it? Oh, it's the blade. You mean boss?
I'm gonna keep pulling this up and down to hopefully not get copyright struck. Hold on. Here it comes. Here it comes. Ah, I didn't put the... What? No! Hold on.
Where did you get it? Oh, it's the blade.
Did they not put it in?
You mean boss, the sneaky fucking Russian.
Hold on.
Maybe it's reliable if it doesn't work.
Doesn't... Wait a second. Isn't there a specific quote in there that says the weight is a sign of reliability? I thought the quote was, the weight is a sign of reliability, but it's not. I think this person just edited this YouTube clip of this poorly. Yeah, Boris the Blade, he knows what's up. The weight is a sign of reliability, is what I thought the quote was, but I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering. It's from the movie Snatch. I was so excited to play that. now I'm questioning everything. Gary Higgins says, got my Fat Shark HDO today. What a difference from the Eachine 800D. Oh my God, yeah, that is a big difference. I can't believe how much easier it is to focus on everything. Gary, that's the experience I had with Fat Shark. My first 2-ish years of flying were with $60 box goggles, and it kind of got to a point where I was having problems with my eyes. The Fresnel lens in the in those Eachine box goggles, it forced you to focus, I guess, really close. And yeah, that was the issue. Like when I finally got Fat Sharks, so I thought I was so fancy. They did a little price drop on Fat Shark HD3s, and the morning that they showed up, I had about 2 hours where I had the newest and best Fat Sharks. And then all of the Facebook groups exploded with the announcement of the Fat Shark HDOs. I shit you not. Can't make this shit up. So I had the newest and best Fat Sharks for about 2 hours. And yeah, that was the big thing that I noticed, is it just made it so much easier for me to focus on what the hell was going on. Enjoy those, dude. That's super awesome. Don Ladd says, Banggood UK is selling the Foxier Razor Mini for £13 at the moment. What's the Foxier Razor Mini? Anybody who has access to Banggood UK, there you go. If you want the Foxier Razor Mini, not Ninny. Oh, yeah. They're a little cheap. They're a little cheapo camera. Okay. I'm seeing $17.90 on US Banggood, and I bet you that's roughly the same exchange rate as £13, is my guess. So yeah, that's cheap. Jesus, that's really cheap for an FPV cam. Brian Ladbrough says, I think that Drainman FPV's video on the addressable RGBs is the most helpful in my opinion. Check it out. There you go. So whoever was asking about addressables before, Drainman FPV supposedly has a really good video that's super helpful. I only have addressables on one rig, and I have them set up, and I'm not touching it. Robox says, unless you're having a desync. I wonder what we were talking about at 4:32. Hey, I'm less than an hour behind. Let's keep going. Robox says, UAV Tech recently did a video on desync corrections. He did. And it was a video about like 7-inch rigs. So yeah, anybody who's having desync issues, go over to UAV Tech's channel, subscribe, because you want to be subscribed to that channel. Mark is an incredible guy. And yeah, do a little search. If you guys didn't know, in YouTube, you can go into somebody's channel and hit the videos button to bring up the screen that has all their videos. There's a search field there, and it works really well. Use the search, and it'll search through the videos, titles, and maybe even the video descriptions. Quad Whisperer says, good advice on motor and ESC, though. It's happening on 2 different rigs. It flies, but I can't flip either. Yeah, that's that heavy whoop desync issue. Quad Whisperer, I mean, an easy thing to try is to look up UAV Tech's videos, and it's basically going to tell you to turn down the startup power. That's a way to deal with it. I would, but I don't think that's that's putting a Band-Aid on the problem, because like where with 7-inch and 8-inch and 9-inch and 10-inch rigs, you have to do that because it's a wacky set of components. Tiny whoops are not like that. Tiny whoops, you should not have to do that. I think maybe there's another issue somewhere that we just need to find, and I don't want to cripple the performance of your rig, right, just to fix this problem. I would rather find the actual root cause of the problem so that you have a better performing rig. Message me, we'll get it figured out. Family Guyver says, suggests anything better than GoPro for HD recording. Nope, doesn't exist, Family Guyver. GoPro is on a whole other level when it comes to video performance. The closest that we've got is Insta360 and they're just not there. And there was a very visible difference, to the point where I can't imagine using Insta360 Go's products on a professional shoot, which is that's the biggest part of the problem. Ruben Tim says GoPro would be guilty of false advertising since I think on the box of their cameras, oh my god, that's true, it talks about how it's configurable through the application, and it's kind of not anymore. Yeah, interesting. What a shitty thing to do. Come on, fucking GoPro. Come on, YouTube, really? Did the thing again. Scrolling back up, trying to figure out where I was. I found it pretty quick this time. Angel Padron says, I just lost my brand new 5-inch. God damn it. And I'm thinking of building my next 5-inch instead of buying a new bind and fly. What's your opinion on this new build spec? Glide or iFlight XL5, definitely the Glide frame, unquestionably. Mamba F7 Super Stack. I don't know anything about the Mamba F7 Super Stack. I do have a Mamba F7 flight controller, 20x20, in the budget rig that's been totally fine. I don't like the pad layout. I'm gonna hit you with this, Angel. It's probably gonna cost you a little bit more money, but it's not that much extra money to go with an Acon AK32 30x30 ESC in the middle of that glide frame, and an Acon F7 20x20 version 1.1 flight controller. That's the non-DJI. There's two Acon flight controllers that are 20x20 and F7. One of them will say on it for DJI. The other one won't say for DJI. Get whichever one you want. I don't know if you're on DJI or not. But yeah, you're not going to spend much more money on those Acon electronics, and I can pretty much guarantee you they're going to be more robust, more reliable, better performing. The Mamba stuff isn't bad, but it's not top shelf like the Acon stuff. And the price point of the Acon stuff is not a top shelf price point. So yeah, I really believe that it's the sweet spot. And with a 5-inch rig, I think that we should be buying a little bit better, more reliable components, because 5-inch rigs carry a lot of momentum and they can do a lot of damage. So yeah, I think with a 5-inch rig, we sort of have a responsibility to build it with components that are known to be bulletproof, even if they cost a little bit extra money. If nothing else, I don't want to hurt someone, right? I don't want to hurt someone. I don't want to put a 5-inch rig through a window, and they have enough weight to do some serious damage. So I think that, yeah, spending 20, 30 extra bucks on Acon electronics is a really good way to spend an extra couple bucks. So yeah, do that maybe. And then he says, T-Motor Velox V2 2207, 2550, great motors. Cadex Ratel, I haven't spent any time with the Ratel, but lots of people say that it's a great camera. My main fear with the Ratel is the lack of quality control that Cadex seems to really struggle with. They don't struggle with a lack of it, they struggle with it. They have a lack of quality control. So for me, I spend an extra couple dollars on RunCam and or Foxeer cameras. The whole FPV world seems to agree that they have better QC. And a camera failing while you're flying is about as scary as it gets. RDQ Mach 3 VTX, I'm going to definitely talk you out of the Mach 3 VTX. That is made by AKK, and AKK has a pretty negative reputation in the VTX world. For the same amount of money, I believe that Mach 3 is $30. For those same $30, you can get an Immersion RC Tramp VTX, $30, and it's all I use in my 5-inch rigs, and I've been using it for years and years, and they've been absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I'm going to recommend that you move over to that more reliable, more well-known. It doesn't have as high of an output power, I don't think, as the Mach 3, but the number on the output power means almost nothing. This Tramp HV outperformed in Joshua Bardwell's testing the Unify HV, or no, I guess it was a 5-volt Unify, which is $10 more expensive, and yeah, it's got plenty of output power, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And then calling out Crossfire Nano, that's a great choice. Any recommendations or suggestions? Just don't tell my wife. Angel, no, you're good, man. There's a couple suggestions for you. Go forth and build some cool shit. Anybody that wants that sort of one-on-one build planning, I do it on Fiverr, or I do it here. I'm okay either way. Brian Ladmiraw says, I'm here, no problem. Weirdo the Skateboard says, is it the XJT that I need to bind to D8? Just want to get a second opinion before I spend more money on shit. Is it the XJT that I need to bind to D8? I don't know, weirdo. I also kind of don't know what you're asking. Is it the XJT? XJT. What's the XJT? Why can't I figure out what the XJT is? Tag me again, and we'll figure it out. 2thumbs405 says, Newbie Drone Cricket Stack on Newbie Drone flow motors, stock Betaflight rates, quad flies, but the roll rate is going 4 times as fast. Okay, so we're getting more info from 2thumbs as I get more and more caught up. Is the Cricket Stack Flight 1? I feel like the Cricket Stack is Flight 1. This issue is so weird. I mean, if in your rate profile, the roll rate, the maximum degrees per second roll rate is not a number that's 4 times as high, there's no reason that should be doing it. Now that you tell me it's a Cricket Stack, it makes me wonder if this is a Flight 1 problem. If there's something about... Because I think the Cricket flight controller is meant for Flight 1. Luckily, with Flight 1 hardware, you can flash the better Betaflight firmware on it, and you don't have to run Flight 1 firmware. But maybe there's some weirdness there, right? Like, it's pretty amazing that the Betaflight devs are willing to make the targets for the Flight 1 stuff. Like, that's huge kudos to them. But I mean, Preston changes stuff. Preston being the main man over at Flight 1, he changes stuff like kind of constantly, and then makes new hardware that everybody then runs out and buys. And that makes it hard for the Betaflight devs to kind of keep on top of making targets for him to flash the better Betaflight firmware. You guys like how I'm doing that? So yeah, maybe that has something to do with it. I guess, man, that problem you're having is so fucking weird. Two thumbs. I would love to work with you on Fiverr. If you want to just message me, that's awesome. He says, so I don't throw this thing through a window. Yeah, either just message me somewhere and we'll work it out, or Fiverr is great too. Whatever. It's all good, my man. Much appreciated. Weirdo the Skateboard says, so CiottiFPV is a commie and I'm an anarchist, so we just need a capitalist and we're all set. Family Guyver says, I'm thinking salt water is more conductive than lake water. Yeah, lake water is I mean, lake water can be salt water. In Charleston, we had a lot of lakes that were salt water. Jordan Pilot says, yes, quality parts have conformal coating on them, but clean, salt and water mineral-free fresh water will never damage electronics. Manufacturers clean boards with demineralized water, but they don't clean them while they're powered up, right? My assumption was that when boards are powered up, fresh water has the potential to damage them, but I don't know a ton about electronics, so you guys tell me. Drone Pilot says distilled water is also good. Scroll. Ryzex RCFPV says, don't forget that you shouldn't conformal coat your bind buttons either. Yes! Ryzex, thank you for that. Yes, your bind button. Your bind button, any buttons, all a button is two pieces of metal, right? That touch each other. So yeah, don't get conformal on your bind button, because the bind button is two pieces of metal that you need to conduct with one another. So yeah, the biggest thing for you guys with the conformal coating is just like I said earlier, anything on just look at the board and just look around the board and be like, all right, who on this board needs to have a metal on metal connection at some point? Just get that in your head, and then you'll be able to just look at the board, hopefully, and sort of figure that out yourself. Yeah. Xenakis is here. FPV Exchange in the house. If you're not on there, why? Oh my god, this looks worse than it's ever looked before. What is happening with this camera? If you're not on FPV Exchange, you're missing out. Head on over. It's free to sign up. It's an amazing website. It's going to allow you to import everything that you've ever bought from RDQ, Pyrodrone, Get FPV, and a bunch of other stores into one spot. And then if you decide that at some point you want to sell those things, instead of the huge pain in the ass of making a Facebook marketplace post, taking pictures, dealing with idiots that are going to try to lowball you, you just go to FPV Exchange and click a button, and all of a sudden that item is for sale, and everybody else on FPV Exchange is going to be able to see it. Even to the point where one of the ways that you can use FPV Exchange is to shop for the lowest prices. So people that use that site to shop an item for the lowest price are going to see that you're selling that, and you selling it is an even lower price. So that person's probably going to buy it from you. Pretty unique opportunity right there, eh? Get over to FPV Exchange, get signed up. It's free. The website gets better and better and better as more people sign up and as more people download their past history into the website, to then start sharing and playing. And it's super awesome. And Nevin's a great guy, and he's absolutely worked his ass off on this website. So the least that we can do is take 30 seconds and go check it out. I know that that's all I need to tell you to do, because once you get over there and check it out, you're going to love it, because it's really cool. So go check it out. Expander says, if I swap 2S 1202.5 6400 kV motors with 11,000 kV motors, how would it affect the current draw on 1S and 2S? Is there more of a chance to fry something? Quad is 1 or 2S capable, but at the moment on 1S, it's uninteresting. It's going to draw more, but Betaflight has motor scaling. So all you do is before you power it up on the 11,000 kV motors, just go into the PID tab, look towards the bottom left side, and there's a motor scaling number. Drop that motor scaling number really low initially. So you're going from 6400 to 11,000. Fuck it, drop that motor scale down to like 60%, just for the first plug-in, just to make sure that nothing bad happens. Fly it, and then you can even adjust that motor scale in the OSD. So yeah, you can literally fly it, take it off. Nope, this isn't enough power. Land it, go into the OSD, find that motor output limit. I forget where it is at the moment, but it's in there. Turn it up from 60% to 70%. Take it back off, see if that's enough power, see if it's too much power. Figure out where you want that motor scale to be before you tune the rig, because the tune scales with the motor scaling. So yeah, do that a couple times, figure out the right amount of power that you want out of that rig. Now your motor scale is locked in. Now you can focus on the tune. If it needs it, it might not even need it. It might be totally fine at that point. That's one of the cool things about motor scaling, is like by the time you get your motor scale to like the appropriate amount of power that most of us fly with, the stock tune is going to be really good at that amount of power. If for some reason you want like some horrendous amount of power, yeah, the stock tune is probably going to be too aggressive. But most people don't want that. And if you do want that, you should understand at that point that you're going to be running into issues, right? Like if you want the automobile equivalent of 2,000 horsepower, there's going to be sacrifices. So you should understand, if that's you, that you're going to have some work to do to get the PID loop under control if the system has 11 billion horsepowers. Jody Dread says, don't keep lipos in the car in winter. Think of all the shaking you'll have to do. Jason, which we talked about. Jason Crabtree says, look up phase 22 packs. They are a phase change material that you can chuck in a lipo bag, and they will help keep the temperature down below about 24°C. Phase change material. Jason, I think I've heard of the... Wait, no. It was heat packs. Weren't we talking about reusable heating packs? Phase 22 sounds familiar, though. Keep the temp... You're saying keep the temp down below. Okay, so these are cryo packs. So these are cold. These are cold. So it's a reusable cold pack. Okay. Well, we've now got reusable hot and cold packs. That's pretty cool. There you guys go. If you want to control your temperature in the downward direction, phase 22 packs, they've got you covered. Thanks, Jason. That's super cool. I love, yeah, I'm an eco nut, so I love reusable stuff. Rito the Skateboard says, so you're saying I can't blow up a car? Challenge accepted. Jason Crabtree says, if you condition the packs till they're solid, that'll keep the temperatures down. If you condition till liquid, they will keep the batteries warm. He's talking about those phase 22 packs. Okay. No shit. So they go both ways. April Fool's, Remy Tim says. Yeah, the shaking batteries thing. It was April Fool. That's exactly what it was. Tiago says, car gas deposits explode if the car catches fire, and putting out a car fire is nearly impossible. Yeah, it is. With water, the fire is just controlled. Yeah, car fires are scary things, man. They're when you're into motorsports for long enough, you will see someone you know in a car fire while they're harnessed in, and it is very scary. And I'm not going to revisit that in my mind. Raider with the Skateboard says, can say from experience that you can blow up a car. It's just not as epic as Hollywood makes it out to be. Yeah, that's very, very true. Corollo says, my 5.6S batteries are completely dead. I just got them last week. Corollo, so, were you the one that left them in the car at 3.1 volts? Oh, sorry, dude. RiseX RCFPV with a $20 super chat. RiseX, so sorry for making you wait this long, but hopefully it was worth the wait. 2 thumbs problem with quad rolls. Try calibrating the gimbals on the controller or the transmitter, especially if it's a multi-protocol transmitter. Even Hall effect gimbals can become out of sync. This could be the issue. Can't hurt to try. Awesome idea, RiseX, dude. Thank you for giving me money and doing my job for me. Yeah, it could absolutely be that. I've had gimbals come out of calibration by a little bit before. I've never had them go totally out, but I've also never run a multi-protocol transmitter. Yeah, wacky problems like that. RiseX also brings up a good point, which is that like when you have a problem that's like off the reservation like this one is, you have to try weird shit like this, right? Because like it's a weird problem, so you got to troubleshoot, you got to fight weird with weird. Dude, RiseX, thanks, brother. Super, super, super cool of you. Drone Pilot says, I've saved many old batteries by jumping the cell that was dead, but I have a high voltage, but I high voltage zapped them 10 times the voltage for a quarter of a second to get it to 2.7 volts or higher, and then charge them normal. You know what? I brought a battery back just the other day by doing it the little bit safer method. I have also done the harder, like hit the battery harder for just a short amount of time method before, and it absolutely works. in my brain, it seems like the softer method with the Bardwell boards is, in my brain, that seems safer to me, right? Look how good it looks in here now that the sun's gone down. There we go. Although this went dead. Interesting. This stream has gone from not sexy at all to I don't know.
Can I bother you while you're in the middle of
Yeah.
What do you want me to do about dinner?
You want me to go out and get something once this is done?
Well, I was gonna order pizza, but I didn't know what your
Oh,
timing-
yeah, pizza.
I didn't know what your timing was.
I am still reading chat comments from 30 minutes ago, so realistically, I can maybe get this wrapped up by 6. That's a good dinner time, right? All right, cool. Hey, let's see if this battery came back to life. Here's a real-world example of bringing a battery back to life. This battery had one cell that was at 0.1 volts. And I put the battery aside somewhere so that I would remember to check it. And I've now lost it. I could have sworn I put it up here on my desk, though. Or not. Hey, here it is. Let's see if it worked. So I did exactly what I told you guys earlier. I took this battery with one dead cell, one cell at 0.1 volts. I looked at what the other, this is a 4S 350 prototype, 300 mAh prototype. I looked at what the voltage that the other cells were at, which was like 3.8, I think. And I found another battery that was 3.8 all the way across the board, plugged into the Bardwell board via the balance plugs only. So the Bardwell board clamped down to 1 amp, and it sent this battery only on the one cell, right? Because the other cells were even at 3.8. So it sent 1 amp to this one cell that was at 0.1, and I left it on there for a while, and it brought the voltage back up. And let's see if it held it. Yep. It was the first cell, and now the first cell is at 3.8. So you can see the other cells are a little bit higher, right? The other cells are at 3.9 because the battery that I plugged in was the same as these other cells, but it transferred some of its juice to this one cell. So yeah, that's awesome because this is a proto battery. They're savable, but that cell that dropped on this, I guarantee you, if I run an internal resistance check, that one cell will have a higher internal resistance. So this battery is hurt, but it's not totally dead yet because I was able to recover that. So yeah, it's totally doable. I'm also much more comfortable doing it on the smaller batteries. On the bigger batteries, there is definitely an extra level of creep to doing that. But as long as you're smart about it, it's kind of doable. Do you have that other light? Silver light? Thank you. 661 thinks it might be a bad gimbal. Could totally be. The weird roll issue, but usually a bad gimbal is pretty obvious. Johnny J says, also, Ciotti, be sure not to conformal code all things with openings, buttons, barometers, microphones. Oh my God, yes, guys. As well as the plugs you mentioned. Johnny J, hell yeah. Yes. I don't know what else to say. Johnny J said it perfectly. If something has a hole in it, like a microphone, don't conformal code over the hole. Or if it's a microphone, or do conformal code over the hole, because the audio that the microphones get is useless, and maybe conformal coding over it will will make it less useless, maybe, or it'll kill it. I have epoxied. I've tried to fix that by epoxying over the microphones, and it strikes me right now that I then never tested that. or paid any attention to whether or not that helped or not. So, sorry. But it's the thought that counts, right? All right, putting these red gels back on this light. Well, not back on, but on this light. Here's a trick. Roscoe, for any of you photography nerds, Roscoe, they used to give it away, but I think you have to buy it now. They have a little kit with these of gels, a little sample gel pack. If they sell it, it's really cheap, and you should get it. It's got like one of every Roscoe gel, and then if you ever get one of these light stick things that I absolutely love because they're like $8, you can use those little free samples and just take a couple little magnets and put them on your little red light source. And then turn it off of flashing mode. And you can have a nice direct reflection on the side of your face. If you can get the damn thing behind you so that the light skims off of it. Yeah, this is my new. I just changed the lighting up a little bit. I've been meaning to do this with this light to produce this to fake. It's a fake of that. It's the same color as that for a reason because it's faking a direct reflection, but it's not actually. See what I mean? That the lava lamp's not bright enough, but movie magic, bro. Dinner will be ready in a half an hour. You guys get 30 more minutes of me, and then I'm going to have to put pants on and go get some pizza. Seth Inman's 3-inch still works after taking a swim. Johnny J says, also, I have an old gas grill that I use to place suspect batteries in for safekeeping. That's a really good idea. I've heard that before. It's a really, really, really good idea. Yeah. Gas grills. Put your batteries in them. And, you know, hopefully your suspect batteries so that when you forget to take them out of there and you turn the gas grill on, you're melting down unsafe. You're melting down your suspect batteries so you don't have to. That kind of works too because then it makes you not feel bad about like, look, because like when I save the batteries, I always have in the back of my head like, man, you're being such a wuss not just cracking them open and taking that 6S and making it into a 5S. So yeah, if I get a gas grill someday, I'm totally keeping them in there so that occasionally I'll turn the gas grill on and destroy all of them so I won't have to feel like a shit anymore. Trend Pilot says, I found the issue with low-speed cruising wobble on my underpowered 7-inch rig. It wasn't the PIDs, it was the idle speed too low. Went from 7% to 11%, and the issue is now gone. Jesus, 11% is a fucking lot. Wow. That's super interesting, Drone Pilot. Did you play around with the new digital idle at all? I wonder if that would make it better or worse. 11% seems really high on the idle speed, but I know you've said the motors are very small for 7-inch props, and when you do that, you're really pushing the boundaries of what's possible. So it actually kind of doesn't surprise me that you're having to go so nuts and do something this aggressive to get that back under control. Drone Pilot, if you're not a patron of Mark Spatz, he just put out a 1-minute little chunk of his gyro tuning videos from last week, and he found a very interesting parallel, which is that mid-throttle oscillations started to kind of pop up way more often when these ICM chips came out. Like back when it was only MPU 6000 gyros, it didn't seem like mid-throttle oscillations were as much of a problem. And in this recent round of testing that Mark did comparing gyros, if you look at it's like a minute-long video, so just go look it up. It's looking like the ICM gyros might be contributing to mid-throttle oscillations. So if that rig is not on an MPU 6000 gyro, maybe get it onto one. It's actually not a patron-only video. It is a public, I think. It is. I think it's a public video on UAV Tech's channel, and he shows the waterfall graphs comparing the ICMs and the MPU 6000s, and it is pretty obvious that there's something going on there. So check that out. Quad Whisperer says, tried to start up power bit, no go. Tried the startup power bit. I forget what we were talking about, Quad Whisperer, but I am on the clock, so I'm going to tell you to message me at CiottiFPV anywhere you'd like, and we'll work on it. Carolus Buttrose with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, Ciotti, I got 5 6S Libros from the car. They don't want to charge. Please help me. I was talking about it earlier. Carolus, we've been talking about that. See if you can jumpstart those. If you have hopefully you have a Bardwell board, and you can take a good battery, and that's somewhat near the voltage. These batteries hopefully didn't drop all the cells, but yeah, you need to get a little bit of extra juice in those batteries to get the voltages up, so that your charger can then recognize them. And yeah, my favorite and the safest way to do that is to take a good battery with voltage in it that's close to, you don't want a fully charged battery and then a dead battery. That's too much of a gap. You want to try to find a battery. So like, I think you said 3.1 volts those were at. So if you can find a battery that's at like 3.6 or 3.7 or even 3.8 volts, that's going to give them a little bit of extra juice and bring them up, and then your charger can take them the rest of the way. Pandemic Pilot says, don't say Insta360. We'll root your camera and destroy your footage. Quad Whisperer says, I'll message you. Thanks, bud. Awesome quad. Scroll. Seth Inman says, my quad survived, by the way. Nice, Seth. Hell yeah, wet quads for life. Weirdo the Skateboard says, I don't really know. It's just what Bardwell says I need, because my Tyrannus won't bind to my Whoop because it doesn't do D8. He's the big brain guy. I just want a second opinion. I've only had to use D8 once, and it was very confusing, and I don't totally understand it either. If Joshua's telling you to, if you've got an opinion from Joshua, like, that's his opinion is worth the first and the second opinion. So yeah, I would just do what Joshua says. He's the man. KVFPV says, if I send you an unlisted YouTube link, do you think I could get an opinion on the tuning issues via sound? Always, KV. You guys can always do that. Like typing what the problem is versus sending me a video. It's always gonna make my life easier having the video. So yeah, that's great. FPV Hawk says, are you in the FPV Exchange Discord channel? I am, but I don't go on Discord much, if at all. So I'm not really active anywhere. Steve FP, even on my own board, which is, I know, bad, but yeah. Steve FPV says, how are you today? I'm good, brother. Sack FPV says, sorry I'm late to the stream. I forgive you. We went flying and took the dog with us, left my phone in the car, asked about the Diatone Taycan tuning pointers in Joshua Bardwell's stream. It's been a while, Sack FPV. I don't remember what your exact question was, so you're going to have to re-ask it. Or, since I am on the clock and I'm starving, message me anywhere, CiottiFPV, Instagram, Facebook, Patreon, wherever, and I'll help you out. Weirdo with a Skateboard, or if you want one-on-one, like a specific session, I do offer that over on Fiverr. CiottiFPV.com has a link to Fiverr, and I have services on there to troubleshoot rigs, tune rigs, help you fly better, help you edit your videos better. Lots of good stuff going on. Totally up to you. Waiter with a Skateboard says, hold up, can I say the fuck word again? You can. 2 thumbs 405 says, I don't know what you mean by Flight 1 issue. Care to unpack that a little? The Flight 1 has decided to basically go against what the entire rest of the industry has decided in terms of gyro cycle rates, which is that anything above, hell, KISS thinks that anything above 1K is wasted data. Betaflight covers their butt a little bit more in a way by going up to 4K and 8K on the gyro and the PID loop frequency, mainly the gyro cycle times. Flight 1, they continue to say that everybody else is wrong, which is interesting. And they say that 32K gyro is the right way to do it. And yeah, everybody else says that that's silly. And Flight 1, I've never seen them back anything up with a black box log, and the data don't lie. So yeah, there's a little bit more info for you. 2 thumbs. There's a reason that everybody flies Betaflight, right? If Flight 1 was better than Betaflight, everybody would fly Flight 1. If KISS was better than Betaflight, everybody would fly KISS. Maybe not. KISS is awful expensive and a real pain in the ass to build. But if it was legitimately better, like straight up, no questions asked, if it was better, we would all be on it. You know? Like, it's sort of the way things work 99% of the time. Flight 1 and KISS are different. Yeah. Mr. Huggy says, looks like Kebab FPV has gone bonkers. Glide X8. What? Oh. I fucking left-clicked the link instead of right-clicking it. In the chat window, tried to navigate to the thing, and now it wiped out my chat. All right, well, that link and many other tags are now gone. If you tag me in a comment earlier than 5:38 p.m., it's gone forever. So I can't watch that video, and I've missed a bunch of tags. That is my bad. I forgot, and YouTube's little chat thing here sucks a big bag of dicks. So let's just keep going. Dauntless FPV says also nickel metal hydride mode can slowly charge a battery to something, but won't deal with individual cells. That was my old trick of bringing batteries back to life. I would flip the charger to NiCad or nickel metal hydride mode, and I would put it to like 1 amp, nice and low, and I would just plug the XT. Well, you have to. You can only plug the XT30 in, and it'll slowly, or XT60, and it'll slowly push power into the whole battery, which is a little bit dangerous because it's going to push the cells that aren't dead. It's going to charge them, and at the same time, it's going to try to bring that dead cell up. So it is dangerous to do that. But so what I recommend is if you're going to do that, you just hold the battery, because the battery is not just going to. Well, typically the batteries don't just instantly explode for no reason. They get really hot and then they explode. So what I'll do is I'll sit right in front of it and just like put a finger or hold it. I guess the safest way to do it is to, like, if this is the battery, put a finger across so that you can feel heat from each one of the cells. And that way, if it explodes, you can just, if you're holding it and it explodes, it's going to... So yeah, just be careful, guys. Be super careful. Respect the shit out of these batteries, basically. Nukem720 in the house. Hey man, just wondering if you or any of the collective has soldered wires to a TBS Unified Pro 32 HV on the bottom of the board. I don't have room for the connector on the Tumaquad's Katana V2. I don't know if anybody has soldered wires down there, Nukem, but those pads on the bottom of the board are there so that you can attach that to a board with mounting on it, and it works fine in that respect. So yeah, you're gonna be totally fine. You're absolutely good to go using those bottom pads. Even though people typically don't use those for wires, there's no reason not to. So yeah, you're good to go. Mr. Huggy says the Glide X8 is running his new flight controller. Oh, I did see that. Yeah, he put motors or he offset them a little bit. I did see a picture of that Glide X8. We'll see what happens. The 8 motor thing is interesting. Yeah, I can't wait to see where it goes. Now that we're trying to pick up heavier and heavier cinema cameras, it's something that more and more people are going to look for. I'm not in a situation where I'll ever be able to afford one of those $4, $8, $10, $20, $30,000 cameras. So I'm not I don't have a use for this 8-motor thing. But it's super cool that people are doing it. It's going to open up the potential for more gigs for us as pilots, and that's a really good thing. Ryzik says they don't get out that bad if you try calibrating it, messes up. This is kind of one of those issues. I've had this problem before. Caused me to lose my first 5-inch quad. I feel like I missed some messages in between. I feel like YouTube deleted some messages in between, which is super annoying. Brian Ladmiraw says, I only jump batteries that I over-discharge too low after a flight. Yeah, me too. Ones that have been sitting usually have super high internal resistances, and I just throw those out. Yeah, I'm of that same mind. Ram Donko says, has the daylight gone? It has, Ram. Look how good I look. Look how less awful I look. Ryzik says, I'm here building HD quads and listening to the stream, and I totally read pooping info when I can, but he typed popping, and you throw out that we get 30 more minutes, then you're throwing your pants on and going to eat. Almost burnt myself with the soldering iron from laughing. Oh, fuck. I never thought about that. Do you guys need me to be less funny so that you don't? Because I know a lot of you guys build. I'm gonna be very very self-flattering and ask if you guys need me to be less funny, as if I'm funny to begin with. I don't know. You guys tell me that you laugh a lot, and my father was a very funny guy, and I don't know. I won class clown award in my senior year of high school, so I don't know. Maybe I'm a little funny. Drony Droid says, no, he's at 0.3 volts. Do not jump start. I have before. It's scary. It's dangerous. I hope I've warned you guys about the danger of these batteries enough that you won't burn your house down. It's tempting to tell you guys just to throw batteries away as soon as they drop a cell like that, because that's the safest way and because the batteries are really cheap. But I'm a cheap bastard, and I bring batteries back to life. I've done it 40, 50 times. And just being careful when I've done it, I've never burned the apartment down. But that doesn't mean that I won't burn the apartment down the very next time I do it. So, yeah, if you value your life, throw them away. Don't be like me. I went to a weird place. 661 says, I don't use D8. There we go. You guys probably couldn't hear that because I was bashing the desk like a tyrant. I don't use D8. Don't you fly a Mobula 6? It's D8. Yes, that's the only experience I have with D8 though, and it was confusing. And when I got it to work, I just went, okay, it works. I'm not learning about this nonsense. I know I need to learn about D8. No, you know what? I don't need to learn about D8 because I want to get Crossfire onto all these whoops. D8 can eat me. I don't know. One of these days. One of you guys teach me about... Does somebody out there know all the things about D8? What's more range, right? Less latency, maybe? More of a pain in the ass? What the protocol is called? It's not FrSky X, it's FrSky D, I think, in the thing. What else do we need to know about D8? Nukem says, wondering if... Oh, wait, we got that. Alexander says, get a cement block and cement board and do this outside. Get a CMU block. I thought that was an acronym for cement. Get a CMU block and a cement board and do this outside. You know who did a great little battery charging thing recently? Ledrib. If you go to, it might be his second channel. It might be Ledrib 2, whatever the hell he calls his second channel. He built a great little cement boarded thing. Do that. That's a good thing to do. Or do like I do and just buy a whole bunch of, like every time you do an order, buy one or two of these Kevlar bags that they have, and just always keep your lipos in the Kevlar bags. I know these don't look like much, but man, they work well. Flight Test blew up a whole bunch of batteries and tested these, as well as the Bat Safe years ago, and like everybody there was blown away at how well these did. They still let the gas out, and if it's a big enough battery, they let a little bit of fire out. But that was like they were testing like batteries that were like tens of thousands of milliamps. Like they were testing big boy batteries. Newcomb says, awesome, thanks, you're welcome. Led the Chicken says, having trouble with gyro trimming for hovering. Different results for several micros. One works, one sort of works. One does nothing obvious at all. Radio works flawlessly in the sim. Lead Chicken, so if for hover, I mean, so gyro trim, you don't really trim the gyro, you trim the accelerometer. So I'm assuming that's what you're doing. I'm assuming you're trying to get angle mode or horizon mode to hover. Unfortunately, these rigs that we're flying just have too many vibrations for the accelerometers, and there's just, you're going to be chasing that forever. I've yet to hear any like bulletproof way to get these things autonomously hovering without any drift for more than like 10 minutes. Like you get it trimmed up, and then it's 2 batteries later it's wrong again. Joshua has talked about it a bunch of times. It just seems like the accelerometers are overwhelmed by the amount of vibes that we've got, and they just start to drift, and you're constantly having to trim it. So yeah, I gave up. I tried to figure it out for a while way back when, and I just gave up, and I've never looked back. And I've yet to hear anybody say like, "Hey, we got this issue fixed." Lead Chicken says, thinking of I'm thinking in the neighborhood of channel endpoint and centers. Was just wondering if maybe it rings a bell with you, and you might instantly know what it is. Unfortunately not, Lead Chicken, but we're going to get that shit fixed, man. Come hell or high water. Ryzek says, no, not less funny, less is worse, in my opinion. Good, because I don't know. It's good because I'm so funny that I don't know how to be less funny. I can't roll my eyes any harder than that. Alexander says, Drone Camps has a $10 bunker build with a CMU video, good budget option, more fire safe than Ladrib's option, which is not a full enclosure. So there you guys go. Check out Drone Camps RC. I can't think of his name. Damn it, I can't think of his name, but he's a good guy from the Drone Camps. Go check it out. Alexander, you can drop a link, but you better hurry because I am at the bottom of the chat and I am still just as hungry. For people living in old houses with fireplaces that are unused, store and charge batteries in it. Yeah, fireplaces are a perfect spot. Brian Ledmeraw says, use stick commands for accelerometer calibration. Yep, that's how I was doing, Brian. I learned the stick command, and I would do it before every battery, and that was the only way to get it to, not drift. And it would start drifting like during the battery. Like I would calibrate it, and I would take off, and it'd be great, and I'd fly around. And then before the end of the battery, it would be drifting all over the place again. I'm like, okay, forget this. Lead Chicken says, not trying for rock solid hover, but the flight controller ignoring me when I give the stick command is aggravating, to say the least. Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. It's been a long stream. Huckleberry FPV says, go get you guys some food. Dang, LOL. Huckleberry, don't tell me how to run my life. There's the beeping alarm that means the cat's food is ready to go. And when the cat eats, we eat. Drone Pilot with the last comment of the stream. You need to eat, man. Seeing a video of you next to Joshua made me realize you spend too much time doing stuff and forget to eat. No such thing, Drone Pilot. I have a crazy metabolism. Remy Tim, I got caught up because somebody posted a YouTube link, and I forgot to right-click that YouTube link. I left-clicked the YouTube link. And what that does is it takes the chat, it tries to navigate the chat window itself to the video. And then when I hit the back button on the chat window, it wipes everything out. It's a mistake that I haven't made in a while. And I probably won't make for a while again, because every time I make it, it sticks out in my mind and I remember for a while. But yeah, I live my life hungry as hell because I have a crazy metabolism. That's why I'm such a skinny dude. I have worked out. I have done protein stuff. I have tried everything I possibly can to gain weight. And it just doesn't work. But that's okay. You guys don't seem to mind me being a skinny bastard. And, you know, I'm lighter weight in cars. A little performance advantage when I'm driving. Yeah, I just live my life hungry as hell. So don't ever worry about it when I'm hungry. But I am going to go. Thanks for hanging out, you beautiful bastards. Every single one of you I consider my friends. Tomorrow night, 10 o'clock. See you then. Maybe some SnowRunner tonight. If you're on PS4, I am CiottiFPV on there, and I've been playing SnowRunner in the middle of the night when I can't sleep. And when I play it, I set it up as an open room, so you can just join in and come ram into me and then hopefully winch me back over. So yeah, add me on PS4 if you'd like. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow at 10. Here's some flying. Dirt, 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 dirt. 2 gigabytes. That's more than... That's not just an instantaneous crash. Come on. Come on, work. All right, friends. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And I'll see you tomorrow. Click this. A little bit of this. A little bit of this. Oh. Oh. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Hold on. That's not the one. What about this one? Easy, easy, easy. Epidemic sounds. Come on. Coming in hot. Coming in a little too hot. I don't like that one. What about this one? Let's try this one. Is this a good one? I was me talking the whole time. Oh, I just played this. Trying to get you guys something interesting. Is this interesting? 2.1 gigs. That means it's there's some actual flying in there. Where the hell is this? Oh, yeah, I'm not showing you guys that. What about this? Oh, yeah, you guys can get a little bit of this. Yeah, you guys will love this. Here's the impossible dive. See you guys tomorrow night. Can I do anything right? Hold on. This is the right program where I can actually adjust the volume. There we go. I know how to do the internet. Impossible dive. See you guys tomorrow.